Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Welcome. We're D&D Boyband, a group of friends that all like to play D&D Pretty Boys because apparently it's not fantasy, because everyone's hot. My name is Jamie, and joining me tonight are a brand new, well, 4 sessions in, I guess, a group of heroic adventurers. First of all, we have Ben as Mercy,
Hello.
Erin as Toad,
What's up, losers?
Sai as Kwan. I'll get it right this week.
Thank you, Jamie.
Appreciate it.
Wait, where did Aku go?
What happened to Aku? Clued as Casimir,
Hello there.
Eski as Pod,
Hello.
and last but not least, Luke as Arvis.
Why last though? Why last? What's that about?
It's just whatever this list
Saving-
Aaron gave.
saving
Take
the-
it up with
Right.
Aaron.
Saving the best for last. It's because it
Right.
goes in the order of our overlay, left to right, so people can follow it easier with their eyes.
It's because with
Oh, so I
Arvis,
ended up last in the overlay as well. Okay.
Arvis is probably
Best for
used to
last.
being first because like A in the name, so we're just like mixing it up. For
Oh, okay. I want to just quickly
Watchful
clarify
team,
this. The reason why everyone is in this order on the overlay is because when we were designing the overlays, I was considering using the same color layout that we did for the first campaign, where it was the color represented by red was first, then orange, yellow, green, blue, purple. And I had Mercy represented by red because of their red headband, orange for Toad because of the orange kind of like scarf, yellow for Quan because like the golden hair and like the yellow armor, like golden armor, I guess, and then Casimir green, obvious. Pod was blue because of the furbolg kind of skin, and also some of his clothes have got blue tones on it, and Arvis purple because of his purple scarf. So that was why I had this overlay order.
Did
there you
that
go.
make you feel better, Luke?
It's pretty well justified. I'm not gonna
I overthink everything.
Luke, I believe you have an announcement as well. That's maybe why you're last. Smooth transitions.
I
Professional session.
have an announcement to make. I'd like to say a massive shout out to the community artist, to Jen. To Jen, the one and only Jen, the only one D&D Boyband Jen, who has generated some incredible art
Oh, man.
of none other than my character, Arvis. You can see him on screen there in the chat. He's looking kind of wolfy, kind of ratty, somewhere in between. I see some gold teeth, gold earring, and a twinkle in his eye, so I'm happy with that.
Can Luke
Great.
do all the announcements all the time?
I know, right?
I feel like he's just a lot better at this than the rest of us.
You could say that it was very generous of Jen to draw this.
Jesus.
Oh, suit you, sir. Suit you, sir. Oh.
Don't like just use all of them at once. Like, do these
We
one
should
a
save
week.
them. We should save them. Yeah.
I don't consent.
Running out of material here.
And Luke is genuinely thrilled to receive the piece.
Mm.
Yeah.
I don't consent to this.
Ben's taking psychic damage over there. All right. That's it for announcements today, Jamie.
Cool. So, last session was... The recap was shorter than the others, which I think you may have appreciated. You guys... well, not by much. You guys went to the Silent Falcon. Your plan was to discuss about how exactly you were going to approach, and also whether or not you were going to rendezvous with whoever the letter that some of you had received from Razor about potentially meeting up, saying you're on the same side in some senses. You had a fairly in-depth conversation about mead and tea bags before going upstairs, and Toad activating a fireball trap, which caused an assailant, seemingly capable of summoning creatures from shadow, to attack you. There were some slightly dicey moments. Some maybe this roll killed somebody. However, you succeeded. You managed to kill the assailant and you believe that the innkeeper had nothing to do with it. Was simply doing something for money and didn't think that their tavern was about to blow up. You are all fairly bruised, fairly bloodied. You see that at the same time there was an attack from somebody that was the rest of the guards were defending. They, the captain, as well as a regiment of troops, are now making their way over to you. You probably have a short period of time, I'd say 5 minutes before they arrive, to get your stories straight, to discuss what the plan is. And D&D Boyband, over to you.
We don't need to get a story straight, right? We got fireball.
Aren't we all just mostly dead as well? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, we definitely look worse.
Story straight.
We are
You're
evidence
about,
at this point.
yeah,
We're
you're
not
about to
suspects,
be.
we're evidence.
The truth is the straight story.
We're happy for the cops to arrive. You know,
Yeah, we
they're
want the
gonna help
cops to
us.
be on our side. We're doing
Yeah.
good out here. We're
Yeah,
here to
we-
hunt bandits.
We have the righteousness.
Well, that's fine.
of-
So I
the
give you 5
Republican.
minutes to discuss, or else we can say that you're all beginning to take a short rest, and the guard arrives. Is there anything you would like to say, or anything you'd like to say to each other before the guard?
Well, DM, I was going to ask you what the state of that fucking building is like. There.
So
Fire.
it is, some of it is smoldering and a lot of it has collapsed. It wasn't a particularly sound structure anyway. I'd say about half of it, not much left. You could try to get through it. The other half, however, Toad very quickly doused it in water. So whilst the initial explosion, I'd say
Yes.
exploded but singed half of it. The other half burning currently.
Right.
I'm a volunteer fireman, so.
Yeah.
Yo, and
that's good
actually
shit.
putting the real fireman to shame.
And now that I've drank that like potion of hill giant strength, I actually look like a fireman too.
Super swole.
Yo.
Enjoy that while it lasts.
Which brings
I-
Mercy turns to Toad and says, "So, what? You were very light when I picked you up coming down the rope.
Yes, and
Well, you don't weigh as much as a human of your stature, height, size would appear to weigh.
perhaps you are just quite strong. It was a very panicked moment. We were, escaping a burning building. I wouldn't think too much about it. Anyway, look at this, everyone. And he's going to roll up his sleeve and reveal this, big, beefy muscle, which is there because of the potion of hill giant strength.
Oh yeah.
Where
Well,
did those
that-
come from?
Well, I drank a potion, and now they're here. Isn't that
One
fabulous?
night only.
Could we just to set the scene a little bit, maybe describe the current HP your character on? You haven't had a short rest, and any status effects, because some of you probably aren't feeling super
yeah.
great right now.
And aren't there guards coming towards us? We're just talking about how much I weigh.
Just flexing.
So
the
yeah,
muscle.
to set the scene, we'll go around. I'll start with Quan. How does Quan look?
Oh, I can't remember. Don't start with B first. Oh no, wait, I'm fine. I'm Gucci. People have been healing me, so yeah, I feel pretty good right now.
I feel like Arvis was in a not a great state.
Yeah, Office was like 3 HP.
I think. Let me check my thing, because I think I took a little bit of healing, because now I'm on 14 out of 18.
Okay, not bad. Pod.
6 out of 20.
Okay, Pod does not look great. Toad.
He looks a bit singed. Yeah.
7 hit points left,
Okay.
but I have 14 temporary hit points on top of that. So although I look a little bit kind of bruised and singed, I kind of still have a bit of pep in my step.
Ilara looks fine. I'd say just slightly above 50%. Casimir.
I mean, he's ended up on 15 out of 22. Although he was down at multiple points in the fight, so he's probably covered in blood, and it does not all belong to him, but most of it does.
You all look particularly singed, and maybe injured, but not necessarily on that store. And then Mercy.
Mercy went down and probably covered in white blood. 7 out of 20.
White blood,
Did you say white blood?
White blood.
like Tipex.
You-
No, a bit more translucent.
You're just gonna gloss over that, just say that, like white blood, and move on.
Have you seen the Alien movies?
I have, and I've seen
Yep.
the blood.
Yeah, you know the kind of blood I'm talking about then.
That's very cool.
Damn son.
I will
Okay.
say, anyone who's perceptive may notice that Toad doesn't actually have any blood on him. He's just bruised and singed. But, he also didn't get slashed by anything, so that would maybe make sense.
Seems fine.
Well, Quan also ate shit at the beginning of the fight, so I mean, he looks like he's having a good time, but he probably is covered in blood and stuff. Although he's also probably really soggy, because I feel like Toad did that raining thing, and he was sitting in the room. That
That's
was raining
true.
for a while. So
I mean, yeah, I think probably most of us are pretty soaked because I think the only person who escaped quickly was Casimir before the rain cloud went out. So
And his hair still looks great, so.
Okay, so with that the scene, and you guys presumably beginning to take a short rest, or at least resting up, Captain Harrison Whitepoint appears with a contingent of troops, and they don't look too hurt. Don't even seem that, they seem like a bit out of breath, kind of making their way over. And Harrison turns to and says, Sergeant Ravencroft, please see to that building. And you see them kind of hang some water and begin to go put it out. And goes, hey, Lara, what the report? What has happened here? Lara kind of stands up and says, well, we came to the Falcon because we believed we had some information and we were going to gather it. And I'm not sure if we should have done, but we should have told you. I'm sorry. But we went upstairs to maybe meet somebody from Razor, only to find out, and well, it just exploded, and then suddenly we were being assailed by shadows. But everyone here is guiltless. They heroically defended me and the camp, and the body's over there if there's anything useful. And we found this letter.
Lara, if you say we're guiltless, we immediately look guilty. You know that, right?
We didn't do it.
Obviously.
Perhaps raises an eyebrow. You were going to meet somebody here? Yes, some of us received letters from Fraser.
And I don't think that's surprising, is it? Razor knows that she's had bandits sent after her. So of course she's going to try... Bandits, sorry. Words clued in with it today. Razor knows that she's had a group sent after her, so of course she's going to try and intercede in whatever way she can.
She's halfway across the world, mate. It's mighty impressive to pick up on that. It's a person with a lot of capability.
We did make a bit of a fanfare about the tournament, didn't we?
Yes, it wasn't exactly a secret mission. However, any information you have, I appreciate you're all on a covert mission, but we are allies. It'd be nice to know.
We have a
Provided
plan.
some protection.
Yes, I'd like to loop you into the next one.
That sounds like a much better plan than whatever the first one was.
Well, the first one was to meet a person. It certainly wasn't to get blown up, but, things change. Anyway, we have some thinking to do tonight, and tomorrow we'll, once we're a little more with it, regale you with our intentions.
And Captain, how were your men faring?
Oh, it was a feint, clearly triggered by the explosion. A few of them appeared from the outskirts of the forest. We pursued. They vanished into the swamp.
Any killed or captured?
One. Killed. Exceptional arrow shot. Do you want that corpse as well?
I mean...
It might be useful to interrogate a member who might know something slightly more recent. But
if you're a really good shot, then maybe even more better.
No, to clarify, one of my men was a really good shot. Why they're dead. We lost clue. Right. He has... Well, the corpse will be provided at this point. It's laying face down in a ditch, so... As long as none of my men, since I'm aware of quite what you're doing with these corpses, none of them comfortable, but I understand that in war, and I do see this as war, needs must. You all look fairly... Well, to that, I'm surprised you all look quite so... put together.
So Pod would look really
Clearly
exhausted.
capable.
Like he'd look really tired, he'd be kind of panting, he's got 0 spell slots left. As well as looking a bit messed up. But you're gonna have to remind me, DM, because I personally forgotten. What was the name of the letter that Pod would have seen?
Nalaska.
So he'd just be like, do you know who Neliska is?
Yes, and I imagine you do, too, don't you? Lara says, well, there's popped up a few reports, but nothing could... Nalaska is, I believe, what you would term a the opposite, perhaps, of who you are. What kind of spy master, if Razor had any shred of credibility operations.
Just goes, oh, okay, and kind of collapses back down onto his ass.
Cedric, please, and a man dressed in kind of priestly robes runs forward and kind of begins to C2E pod, give you a sip of water, kind of looks through your wounds. That doesn't seem to cast any magic, but is dabbing you with hot power.
Do his robes look in any way like a clemenverite?
No, helmet.
Oh, okay.
Well, listen, mate, he says to one of the guards, we don't really, at least I don't know about this Naliska character so much. What can you tell us?
Other than his fingerprints have been over any documents or communications we've seen, not much. We've got a fairly basic description. Half-elf, quite short, black hair, gaunt. We're smart,
Where?
even in the swamp. Impractical.
Where has he been sighted?
Hasn't been, well, never in attacks. It's always been whenever our operatives have got close to any of their base of operations, he's been spied, either coming, going, leaving, or
Which
he often
bases?
arrives just before attacks.
Before attacks, so would we expect to find him at Wraithwater or not? That's the question.
But I imagine that if wherever I imagine such a person likes to keep themselves informed. If this is the center of what their current operations are, we'll be nearby. Probably feeding back to Razor everything.
If he's a spy master, then he'll know where she is. So he feels like a priority target for us.
I imagine if you were able to apprehend or interrogate him, a lot of pieces would fall into place rather quickly.
Indeed. Good. Well, we have
So
a
your
nice
plan-
planning. Well,
So you're going
this-
to rope me in.
Yes, it's the seed of one. Forgive me, we've just fought for our lives, so give me a second to formulate something a little more than half-baked ideas, but we know they're gathering at Wraithwater. It's not far from here. We thought perhaps we might let ourselves get, quote-unquote, kidnapped, get into the fortress, learn things, get out. And I feel if we had your support, this would be a far sight easier.
Well, it's risky. I suppose that's why there's not many of you, and my army can't do it.
It
Sure.
feels less risky than trying to break in ourselves, and at least we'll get taken straight in.
But I imagine getting captured is risky anyway. What if they execute you all on the spot?
They wanted us alive, interestingly.
I'll trust that you and Lara have your own best interests in mind, if nothing else. And he's kind of sorry. You see Raven seeing him down, and comes over. Yes, Sergeant. Take Mira into custody, please. And you see that one of the couple of sergeants go over and put Mira in handcuffs.
At the innkeeper.
Yeah.
Captain, for reasons that unfortunately I would like to explain but can't, it would be best for the success of our mission, our adventure, if you weren't fully apprised of exactly what our plan is. And insofar, I might go so far as to say it would be best if you didn't know anything.
If you're asking me to put my men's life on the line,
I'm not.
I will need to be fully informed. That is my one and only criteria.
What I was proposing is we give you a choice of 4 or 5 different plans of action. You would help us by making arrangements for each of those 5, 4, or however many we decide, but not know exactly which one we plan to take. That would assist us greatly.
Are you worried there's a spy?
The most dangerous of spies.
If you find out who it is, let me know. But you're right, Casimir. Lara, you are all tired and fought for your lives, and whilst my men are in a better place, they still have also prepared for battle and... Well, will do with the rest. Let me know what exactly you're doing, and please do not leave tomorrow without not my permission, but at least my notice.
If overnight you could gather shackles which are slightly too large for everyone in our group, that would be very helpful.
Looks at Pod. Looks up and down at Pod.
Easy to break
He just
out of.
gives a warm smile back.
I'll see what can be arranged.
Shackles with a safe word if anyone in town is into that.
I doubt
Takes
it.
the fun away, mate.
Men at ease. Please take Mira in for questioning. Cedric, does it look okay? And Cedric looks over at Pod, like puts back. He'll live. He's fine. Once you know, and kind of taps you on the cheek.
Just gives an awkward thumbs up. Very warm, kind of dopey looking smile.
You'll be looking for alternative accommodation, I assume.
Yes, assuming our beds are singed somewhat.
We welcome you with my command tent for tonight, Lara. I'll show you the way. Come with me. Lara says, thank you very much. I'm very appreciative. We want to stay in the inn. We don't want to be in any trouble. We don't want any special treatment. And begins walking you all the way.
Hell, we do. What the fuck?
Casimir looks very pained when she says that.
And kind of begins walking you all the way. If there's no interruptions, I will say that you are brought to a large tent in the center of town. You know, much of it is kind of, soldiers come in and clear it out one by one, and you are left eventually to your own devices with kind of a hearty soup provided. Your clothes are taken to be clean. Everything is taken care of. There aren't beds as such, but mattresses laid out and that's for you. And you guys can decide what you're planning to do this evening, if you want to talk about anything, and obviously what you were going to ask for the night, for tomorrow, and anything else you want to do. So,
What kind of soup have we been served? That's the important question.
Ellie, like, given that you are not that far from civilization, it's a pretty hearty soup. It's mushrooms, potatoes, meat, leeks. Toad, if you choose not to eat it, you are.
No, it's fine. I eat mushrooms. Just
Okay.
because they grow on me doesn't mean I don't eat them.
Very true.
And I think over dinner, Arvis would say to Casimir, Casimir, mate, yeah. This has got to be the most gourmet. Surely you would know.
The soup.
Oh, it's fucking delightful.
Do you know, it's not half bad, I'll give it that.
I
And he doesn't seem that bothered eating the soup.
The stuff's the kings and queens, mate.
Not quite. I long for a day when I am eating better than this soup, but we do what we must.
Are we sat at like a dinner table or are we on the
No, it's
ground? Like, what's the
It's
deal?
kind of on the ground. You've kind of had like, cushions, nicest cushions, kind of used as seats, and then kind of for want of a better word, a picnic blanket like laid out, and you kind of had stuff placed on it, including like some wine, goblets, and Elias says, a toast to our first victory as a group. I feel closer to you all than I ever have done. To us. kind of
Arvis doesn't even make eye contact, looking down, just... He's not sensing the victory.
To us. While we are cheersing, I would like to try to stealthily pour my soup into Pod's bowl next to me.
I'll have it. We'll make this a contested against Pod's passive perception. Yours, yourself.
Wait,
I'm trying to give you
you're
my
hoping
soup.
that I don't. Okay.
I'm topping you
without
up.
asking.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I mean, Pod's a big lad. He would have probably already finished his soup or like.
I just got a natural 20.
Okay. Pod, it's this bowl is much bigger than you think. You get like what you think must be like 3/4 most of the way down. You put it down for a second to toast. You look back, it's full to the brim again.
Soup.
This is an impressive bowl. You like this bowl.
He's like, just excitedly. Can I keep this bowl?
And I was like, yeah, of course.
I like this bowl. This is a great bowl.
Well done,
I had that
everybody.
Volta moment.
DM, what type of soup is it?
I said meat, potatoes. You're not sure of the
Mushrooms.
meat. It is kind of mystery meat.
Mystery meat.
Mm.
Is it seasoned?
That's kind of neat.
The Bulwarker are very non-seasoned people.
Ah.
I was just chewing proper loud, like.
That's- Jamie, can Mercy be absent from the dinner?
Yes. What would you like to do?
Okay, I'm gonna scan the camp for weavers.
It's gonna season this.
Okay.
We're stealing their meat, sir.
I want to walk around the camp in disguise as various soldiers and just look for people without, classic weavers, people without lines.
Outlines. Sure. So is this going to be a general roll against the camp on your portents, or is this going to be a perception roll? Do you think? What are you aiming?
I have one last portent for the day, and it is a 20, which I didn't get to use in the
natural
last.
20.
It is a natural 20, which I didn't get to use in the fight because I got stabilized and didn't make a death saving throw. But now I would like to use it to find out definitively whether there are spies in this camp.
Okay.
And if I have to make another roll,
Stabilized, motherfucker.
another kind of roll as well, I'm happy to do that.
Yeah. So I would like. So I'm going to make you roll. Why don't you say you succeed on your weave check? Let's put it that way for a sec, and then you can roll your percentage dice.
Ah, that sucks. I got a 28.
Okay. Wait, is higher or lower better? I think it's higher, right? Higher's better.
I think it's higher. Yeah.
Okay. You look around, and ultimately this camp it's full of people. There are thousands of people, and all the intermingled fates. You've seen this before. Like a city or even a town's flow of fate is so all-encompassing and strong. The current washes up everybody into it, and even people who are popular there are really difficult to kind of differentiate their fate from anybody else. But with that roll, even then, it is incredibly difficult for you to peer through the weave. You found this for a while, ever since, and you can tell from what people you see walking around that their fates have been altered by mere proximity to, you imagine, your group, whether you may place that on, and Lilith's followers. You are, I would say, you would perhaps perceive that at this point, is it possible that everybody here would be classified as an aberrant because their future is off base? And that thought worries you.
Okay.
You can't find anybody who doesn't have a... You worry about allowing this to continue and what it means.
Okay. Cool. And okay,
I would say that with that, however, with the obviously you've got the natural 20, give me something for that. I would say that you are confident that there are no weavers here. However, if someone doesn't have a fate or not, because I'd say 20% check, it is difficult to make out. Even if you look at your group, making them in such a place where so many people here, so many impact their lives, it's difficult to work out an individual person doesn't have future.
Okay. All right. That's good to know. How long? And depending on how long that takes, I'd hopefully like it to make it back in time for the long rest. But if I don't, then
I think that's probably okay with some rewards for the natural 20 use. So that's Mercy's doing. The rest of you are having dinner with Alara, chatting away.
Has it been an hour since our combat now?
Oh yeah.
My muscles fade. I now look very weedy as I resume being a 4 strength.
Yeah, actually, Casamento probably both look really deflated. Both of them at 4 strength, having been rinsed by shadows.
Oh yeah, of course. You guys must look like gaunt as
So
fuck.
I feel like he might be shaking slightly when he picks his soup up.
Oh,
Older heavy man.
I don't feel so good. I'm gonna step outside for a couple minutes, you guys, and I'm gonna leave the tent.
How's Quan looking after his unconscious spell?
Quan is looking fine. I mean, he probably looked a bit rattled when he woke up, but you didn't see that. So yeah, he's pretty chipper. He seems to be happy that everyone's made it out alive, and he's tucking in to the stew. Although I will say, about 5 minutes after Toad leaves, he probably stands up and pushes his chair out the way and says, "You know, I think someone should check on Toad, see if he's all right. I'm gonna..." And he walks out.
Watches him go with narrowed, suspicious eyes, but says nothing.
Anyone going to say it, mate?
Go on.
Say what?
Some of us. Be fucking neurotic.
Elaborate, please.
Can't help but feel like, mate. People walking away real often. We're meant to have a plan, meant to be a team. But I don't feel like we're a team. I feel like we're a collection of very individuals.
We are remarkably individual, aren't we? Personally, I am most concerned by the paladins collapsing, and it doesn't seem usual. I just want to know it won't impact us going forward. If it collapses halfway into Wraithwater, we have an issue. One that I'm not best equipped to solve.
Wait, I completely forgot that he was.
Yeah.
I thought you were referring to my my death save.
No, you're out of body experience. Pod, can you do a medical on him? That's what you do, right? You're a healing sword. Very good at it, by the way.
Oh, thank you. And yeah, he walks over. I guess is Quan still there, or no? I thought Quan went away.
I'm walked off.
Yeah,
But-
Quan was.
I guess he kind of looks back at you because, like, what? Like now? You're
Oh, no, not now, but just tomorrow, sometime. Check he's not.
Oh yeah, no,
Check
of
he
course,
doesn't have a
anytime.
brain tumor or something, you know?
Ah, boy, maybe I don't know, narcolepsy. I heard about that.
Narcolepsy. Check for visual disturbances and auras, and you know,
How many of us are here? Just the three of us, is it? Or the four of us?
3 of us, I think. And Ilara? 4 of us. Is Ilara with the boys?
Ilara's with the boys, yeah. Ilara's with you all, having dinner.
Alright, I'll be honest with you, blokes. I, of the three of us, am the most likely to be the spy, but I'm not acting as peculiar as some other members of the party. Do you even reckon he's a paladin? I've seen him do some things with his hands. It's quite impressive.
Yeah, he also
But,
willingly cheated in the fight against Fazul, which isn't very paladin. He might be an oathbreaker, I hear. Sometimes they do break oaths and fall from grace. He might be one
Hey,
of them.
I didn't do any cheating. Will did the cheating. That's so fucking rude.
You're getting shit talked behind your back, like a game show.
I can't even defend my honor.
Absolutely not.
Do you know,
That's
paladins
the best bit.
paladins tend to remind you that they're a paladin every few minutes, no? And Quan is remarkably humble about it, which is probably the biggest red flag as to him actually being a paladin. You might be right, he may well not be.
Maybe
Does that make him a spy?
No, I think he's too...
Maybe
simple.
theory
Yeah,
could-
go on. Say it simple. You just called my character simple.
I've
You
called him simple.
dickhead.
Oh, a very good actor. He might be a good actor. No, but you're quite right, Arvis. Given I've been operating under a pseudonym for some decade, you're the
Vibe
spy.
check. I can't remember if I'm still Archibald or not. I think I'm probably still Archibald.
No, I think you told us you're a rat last when we were walking over.
Hey, with the rats out of the bag.
Yeah, the rats out. You took your hat off and you were like, "I am a rat," and we were like, "Yeah."
Wow.
Yeah, of course.
Crazy.
Yes,
You revealed a rat on the road.
To be fair,
No,
I
no,
think
no.
you are slightly balding tabaxi, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll take that personally.
Well, you told us your mother's a tabaxi, so. Or your nan or something.
My nan's a tabaxi.
Why would I
Your
think you're
grandfather's
lying?
grandmother's mother.
Yeah, something like that.
And then there's Toad is resolutely maybe lying about where he's from or just unable to describe it, I'm not sure. He's told me multiple times he's from over there, and again he points in exactly the right direction. But
No, but he is from over there. Wait, how much?
I didn't know that.
How much would Pod know? I don't know. I probably should.
You would know the same, yeah. If you ever asked Toad where he's from, Toad has said, I'm from over there, and he would have pointed in the same direction he always points in.
Yeah, of course.
And at dinner, Malik's ranger was implying Toad was someone important.
Ah, mate.
Which we don't
I
have any
don't know
indication
what's
as to.
going on with that boy. Like,
Mercy
I
tried to
used to sell a
assassinate
few
me.
things here and there. Let me tell you a little story, mate. A little something about myself. And I used to sell a few substances here and there, making a little bit of money on the side
Drugs.
and those kind of things. Potions, mate. Potions.
Oh.
But not everywhere is the same potion given the same treatment. So you'd find a higher price for, say, a potion of hill-drawing strength that wasn't so much legal, let's say, in other places. So I've seen many skinny fellas who are looking to put on a little bit of something, and I've sold a few, a few tablets, a few
Of Hill Giant.
some of it,
yes.
a few hill giant strength, you know what I mean? Those young lads who aren't feeling so great about themselves, a little lost in the life, and I've seen skinny blokes take a hill giant strength, mate, and they always end up looking a bit weird, that hill giant steroid kind of vibe.
Tail in the shape of the bicep, yes.
That's right, it's not curling the same way. But with this fella here, it looked even stranger. Bulging on all the wrong places, mate. Like it was one long tri-bicep.
Anatomically strange, now that you mention it.
Not usual.
Not usual at all. So we have a false paladin, we have a question mark, and we have the world's worst assassin.
Who's this? Ah, yeah.
Question mark.
That's
Assassin.
Mercy.
I almost forgot who you were talking about, mate.
Gaz laughs extremely mirthlessly at that.
I mean, I'm sure you will have some backgrounds, but why are we picking holes in the team? This is an evening of victory. We should be bonding. You ask them these questions. Don't sit here
Because
and...
to repair a sinking ship, you have to locate the holes so you can plug them.
Yes, but you don't talk about the hole behind its back.
Why not? I need to talk to the engineers.
Normally, you can't actually talk to a hole. It's inanimate.
The hole doesn't care, it just needs to be fixed.
No, I know, but I feel this is all very... Just, if you have suspicions or you need to question, ask them.
Nah.
No. I don't think I will do that.
Well, if we're all going to be putting our lives on the line again and trusting each other, you can't be unsure about them. We're about to walk in. We're all going to pretend that we've been captured. What if one of us is a problem?
Well, they're best to find out now, no?
Yes, by asking them.
Toe fucking right, mate. Toe fucking right.
So, Pod, make sure the paladin is a paladin and doesn't have a brain tumour. We'll make sure Toad is
He kind of
sound.
nods, as if
And
you're giving him
I-
like a really important job. He's like, it looks very, very decided.
And I just don't think there's any helping Mercy. I think they're a lost cause.
And about that, and he takes a fucking bite out of like a little bit of bone that comes out of the soup, just snaps it, and a bit of marrow comes in his mouth. And about that victory there, darling, I'm curious to know what exactly we've won here.
we were ambushed and we survived and everybody's intact. That's the victory. Surely.
Ah, what we win?
Survival.
What's the outcome, man? What's the
Survival
game? Eh?
isn't a victory, it's the baseline.
Thank you. Thank you.
Actually, it was
Information.
Helen Four's guidance and his judgment that allowed us to survive. If it was not for him, we would not be alive today. Or well, some of us wouldn't.
And we all
Mercy.
demonstrated our
Casimir.
skill in combat. And we can all go forward and trust each other as allies.
If you do
Competent
a
allies.
real good job, mate, you don't need to demonstrate it.
If I thought everyone here was competent, then I'd be delusional. I'm just being pragmatic here.
Sure, I agree. Sure. We all supported each other in that fight.
I know, and some people are better at supporting each other than others. And that's
Competency is a
fine.
sliding scale.
Yeah, scales have lower and upper ends.
Not enjoying this conversation, and she sits.
Oh. While we're bitching, what are the rest of the party doing?
I'm sorry, I just have to say,
isn't
I'm getting such a wine mum vibes from Casimir and Arvis. They're like totally like they've just met up to have a little gossip together, and it's so fun to watch.
I hate them all too.
We're,
Yeah, I
the
hate
mean,
them.
we're the mean girls.
I've been losing my mind. I've been putting myself on mute so I don't distract with my laughter constantly.
What I wanted to add was I'm just so glad I'm not my character. Didn't you ever get that feeling? You're so glad you're not.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jamie, could you please describe a little bit more of this town that we're in? Is it
Yeah.
kind of like what's the surrounding area when we immediately leave this tent?
So this is very much like immediately outside the mountain pass. When you read the tent, this is what once would have been just an army encampment that's kind of dragged on to the point that people have started putting up structures. Like this would once have been a forward base or an outpost. You kind of maybe see you do see the old wooden palisades that have been thrown up. But now people have been garrisoned here or stayed here for so long that they've started building more appropriate dwellings than just tents. Very much thrown together, very much, there's like chopped wood outside still. But as you get out of this tent, there are more command tents nearby. You're in kind of, the officers bit. But as you make your way out, there's a combination of tents and makeshift structures and thrown together stuff. There is a very rowdy atmosphere. People here aren't particularly worried about being on watch. You are quite far from Razor is not trying to come this way. You get the impression the attacks here are very infrequent. Even though there was one today, the tension might be slightly raised, but it's not like overwhelming or like stifling. So as you come out, there will be like lines of torches, tents. It's quite busy. People will be drinking. People will be playing games. There'll be a combination of kind of soldiers who eventually move their family out here. Some just stop that. There'll be a lot of predominantly soldiers in this area. What are you looking for?
Maybe guess somewhere a little bit less busy. So maybe like kind of like a grassy field or like a stream or something.
Yeah, so there's a bit of a valley between essentially what would start to be, the forests and swamps of the Stormland and where you are now, where there's kind of, you get the sense it's been cleared. There are kind of the occasional tree stump or grassy knoll that clearly was once a tree that's been cut down. And if you get to the outskirts, it quietens down quite a bit. And you do have guards, obviously, on towers and patrolling, but if you wanted to find a private area, you could.
Cool.
Or
Yeah.
slightly beyond the tree line, although you see guards kind of watching you as you leave and kind of you disappear into the tree line.
I'll wave to them. Hello. Lovely evening, isn't it?
One of them looks the other and says, "How do you think they're doing?"
Who?
You.
What?
What are you doing?
Going out for a stroll. To that grassy field over there.
Seems like.
Over there, I'm going over that way.
Okay, well, we'll be keeping an eye on you. No funny business.
If you insist.
Oh, I do.
Okay then. Odd.
DM, is that an Aussie accent?
No.
Why is it like...
Sean was in London today.
So he'll walk past the guard and go out to, I guess, like kind of like a grassy field. And when he gets there, he's going to take his boots off, and kind of sit down in the grass and get Charlie off of his shoulder and kind of feed him some fresh blades of grass. He'll maybe take a little flower off his shoulder and feed that to Charlie. Charlie looks a little bit sparkled, but he's having a good time. And
Charlie!
and he's going to kind of just like dig into the grass and the dirt a little bit and just kind of connect with nature.
Make a perception check for me with advantage.
Oh. Okay, that is a 6 and a 17, and my perception is 4, so that is a 21.
Okay, as you put your hand in the grass, you touch grass, feel yourself go through your hand in. This is, you get kind of through the ground, for everything around you, for the creatures that this has been the location of several battles. You feel kind of disturbances in the ground, which you may imagine once would have been bodies. Life is doing fairly well here. But you are overcome with the sense you are being watched, and there is a malevolence to that watching. And you look up and you see a snowy white owl perched on a tree, staring directly at you. With a particularly cruel-looking beak and amber eyes trained directly on you.
Interesting. How many feet away from me is it?
Say 30 feet.
Huh. Can I concentrate for about 60 seconds? And I think some spores from like the mushrooms on my shoulder are just gonna kind of drift off towards this owl. And I'd like to form a telepathic link with it, if it so chooses to join it.
Okay. It does choose. What do you say via the link?
Hello. How about you?
Okay. How smart are owls?
Smarter than you'd like.
Yeah. Wait, owls have a Roll20 table. That's good. That's our Roll20 stat. Sorry. It has an intelligence of 2. That's fine. You get the sense that the owl's consciousness is but one of 2 in its head. And you hear the owl reply, so you just said hello, right?
I have just said hello, yeah.
The owl kind of twists its head, kind of looks around at you and says, "It speaks."
Yes. And so do you. How are you this fine evening?
Ed seems confused by the question.
Can I communicate more with like pictures instead of words?
Yep.
And I'm going to just kind of give across this like emotion of like warmth and welcome and kind of like curiosity and kind of get across a sense of, what do you want? Can I help you somehow? Do you want something?
It sends back images of you, watching you from afar, watching you since you arrived in camp, watching the other members of the group, and images of a 50, perhaps something-year-old woman, hair tied up in a bun, white hair, that you recognize from the wanted poster.
Oh. Is she a friend of yours?
Yes.
I see. Well,
You sense that the other consciousness is trying to engage and needs your permission.
oh yeah, of course. I'm always open to talking. Who is this?
There's no response initially.
Oh.
You just sense that it is now engaged in the conversation.
Hello? I know you're
Yeah.
there. Say something.
The owl. Hello. Hello.
Hello?
Hello.
Hello?
That owl's got 3G, man.
Eclipse.
Eclipse?
I. Eclipse.
Like the moon?
Not.
I don't understand.
Me. I. Me.
You are an eclipse.
Not.
Very good. That's wonderful. Is that your name?
Not.
It's a lovely name. It's a shame that I don't like birds, because otherwise I'd think they were quite lovely.
I just stared at you.
It's nothing personal. So, are you just going to sit there watching me, or can I... I'm trying to have a moment right now with my dirt over here. You can't eat Charlie, by the way. He's a friend, not food.
At the mention of Charlie, the owl's thing, and suddenly seems to notice it sitting next to you.
No! And Toad will, like, wrap his hand around Charlie to, like, kind of keep him hidden, and Charlie, like, shrinks back into their little shell.
Now, Eclipse, that's not making friends, is it?
Oh, you've decided to speak. Hello.
Hello.
Who are you?
It's not important. Who are you?
Well, that's also not important.
Wonderful, I'm so glad we're both not important.
Well, do you want to chat about something?
Yes, I do. And I'm glad
Okay.
you've wandered off.
Well, that guard over there is actually watching me right now, so I'm not that far away from the camp. It's actually a bit creepy. I just wanted a moment. And, anyway, sorry. What is it that you would like?
Well, I'd like to know, what do you want?
Well, I'm just kind of hungry at the moment, so that's why I'm out here.
You're eating?
Yes?
You eat dirt?
What's wrong with that?
Nothing. Just curious. I want you to ask Mercy a question.
Okay. What for?
I want you to ask them, what's at the end of Savris's plan?
Sorry, Sandra's plan?
Savris. Their god.
Salsa? Sorry, I'm very bad with names.
Ask Mercy what's at the
Yes.
end of his god's plan.
Okay, I can remember that.
Good.
Why don't you ask Mercy yourself, though? I'm not exactly a carrier pigeon for messages.
If I ever meet them in person, which I doubt, I'll ask them myself.
Okay, that's great. Because I don't actually know how I'd get the answer back to you, because,
I don't need the answer back. I need you to hear the answer.
okay, I guess. I don't really care what other gods are up to be perfectly honest.
You would, little one.
Okay.
This has been charming. Enjoy your dirt.
Thank you. I am actually. It's lovely. It's been well aged, and it's moist. It's quite lovely.
The connection's not severed, but the other person doesn't seem to reply.
Toad
The owl's
is,
still watching you.
Toad feels a little bit self-conscious being watched while he's trying to chill, so he might shuffle like 10 feet to the side to disconnect the connection.
Okay, if you break the thing, that's fine. The owl just stares. Unblinkingly, you've realized this entire time.
I hate birds. Why are birds like this? Charlie, I think perhaps we should go eat somewhere else. I don't like the way that bird is watching you. And Charlie just kind of wriggles his little tentacles out of his shell. All right, Charlie, let's go. And I'll stand up and start putting my boots back on.
And once that conversation's over, you get the same sense you did the first time you spoke to Pod.
Oh, okay. Good to know.
Okay. I'll say that's what you're doing. Give it a thing. Quan. You stepped outside.
I was trying to follow Toad. So, depending on how long that was, depending on whether I could follow Toad, I guess maybe I would have seen or heard Toad talking to an owl.
Well, it was a telepathic conversation, so...
Okay, staring intently at an owl. I don't know though. That's up to you, DM.
Yeah, I mean that's what you would have seen. Toad would have crept outside, or was outside, spoken to the guard for a bit, gone out, has buried their hands in the dirt, and is now staring at an owl, having moved away for a little bit with the sail.
Okay, so after the conversation with the owl, what is Toad doing? Is Toad just sitting there eating dirt?
No, I've moved about 10 foot away, and I have dirt kind of like on my hands and kind of streaked a little bit down my wrists a bit, and I've got dirt kind of like on my feet and my ankles, and I'm just kind of trying to put my boots back on, but I still have dirt on my feet and legs. So I'm just trying
Would
to
I have
pull my
seen
socks up.
you eating dirt while you were talking to the owl?
I wasn't putting dirt in my mouth, so no.
Okay. Interesting. Okay.
I just look like I've gone out for a walk with like taking my shoes off to like feel the grass under my feet, you know? Just connecting with nature and all that.
So, after a few minutes of just seeing Toad acting strangely, Quan is going to run up to him and say, "Jeez, what have you been doing, Toad? Are you okay? Why are you covered in dirt?"
Oh, well, I was sitting on the ground and the dirt felt quite nice under my hands, so I had a little touch in the grass. You should try it. It's quite nice. Do you want to sit down with me? Come on, let's sit down. And he'll sit back down on the ground and pat the grass next to him quite expectantly.
Quan does sit down.
Isn't this grass so nice? The dew is so fresh.
Toad,
What?
are you feeling okay? Is everything all right after that fight? You seem to be very tired and acting rather strange.
Well, I got hit by one of those strange shadowy figures, and well, I feel quite kind of weak in the arms at the moment, but I kind of feel like after a nice nap, that feeling will probably go away. It's always a bit of a whiplash when you take one of those potions of hill giant strength and suddenly you're all strong and then it disappears, and it's... Yeah. One of my best friends is a potion seller, and honestly, it's just absolutely wild trying those and the ups and downs you get is just, it's all over the place.
Well, perhaps, Toad, if you feel not so great after taking those potions, maybe you should avoid taking the potions in the first place. After all, it would be terrible to become dependent on such things.
Oh, well, they're so expensive, so I can't actually get access to them very often. And they only last for an hour, so it's not really a problem, you know?
But you should treasure your body, Toad. I mean, surely drinking these potions all the time can't be good for you. I really would take it easy if you're not feeling so well after it.
Well, I'm actually feeling much better now that I've had some time, you know, out here under the beautiful moon.
In the dirt.
In the dirt, yes.
Okay. Well, perhaps you should get a good night's rest. I just came out here to check to see how you were. You left rather abruptly, after all.
Oh, yeah, it was a bit warm in the tent with the fire and everything, but I've just been also giving Charlie some snacks, and he'll pick another little blue flower off of his jacket and feed it to Charlie, who munches it up quite quickly. These are edible, you know. Would you like one?
I am quite
Here,
full after
honestly,
my dinner.
it has a lovely taste. It's quite sweet.
Is it actually edible? Do I know, DM?
You don't know. Your knowledge
Yes,
is
that's
nothing.
right. I don't know.
Feel free to insight check me.
yeah, I guess so. Can I insect?
Regardless.
Insect?
Yeah, go for it.
So how does this work? Do I roll as well? And
No. I think you decide based on the roll what Aku perceives. Sorry.
Oh
my god!
And you
What one?
Jamie's so in love with Aku. Oh my
Wow.
god.
What one?
Let him
perceives?
go.
I just really miss Lanharat, you know.
Said
what-
no one ever.
You decide what Juan perceives from you based on the roll. I think
Okay,
that's
so I
kind of
rolled a
fun.
6.
Okay. I don't know how I would rule. I don't really know how to rule an insight roll, to be honest.
Distinctly believe you don't doubt. I think that's obviously you're like
I might not doubt that Toad is
Toad
being
believes
genuine,
it. Yes.
but yeah, okay. That
Do you
is
think he believes it? Sorry, is the
I'll eat one as well.
yeah. No.
Here. How about let's
it's
both have one, and he'll pick two off his
I
shoulder. He'll hand you
could
one, and he'll
not
put the other
take
one in his
from
mouth.
Charlie's dinner. I really couldn't.
No, don't worry. There's
Charlie was
plenty. They grow back
quite
super fast.
famished.
It's like basil. It just grows so fast. It's just like I can't get rid of them fast enough. Honestly, here, have one.
perception check from Poe, please.
Oh, for me? Oh,
Yep.
okay. That is a 19 plus 4, so 23.
Okay, pretty good that the 22 as Eclipse takes off and flies talons outstretched towards Charlie.
No! Shit. Wait. What's something quick I can do? Can I use my reaction to,
You can use your turn. You've noticed it flying.
Oh, okay, cool. I'm gonna chill touch. Like noticing him swooping towards me, or her, or whatever the gender of this owl is, I'm gonna whip out my hand, and all of the spores that were kind of like drifting off the mushrooms on my shoulder all kind of coalesce around my arm into like almost like a beam, and it shoots out, and kind of should hit this bird, I believe. Ranged spell attack.
You can make an attack roll. Yeah.
Yes. So
Armor class of 11.
I roll a d20 and then add my spell attack modifier, right?
Yep.
Oh god, that's not great. So 6 plus 6, that's 12. Does a 12
12
hit?
hits. It's got 1 HP. Yeah, absolutely. As you kind of throw it out, your mushroom flare, and this owl just lands on the floor, turns into smoke immediately.
God, I hate birds so much.
Good lord. Does Quan have any idea what has just happened?
Nope.
Did
A
I
bird has,
Blow an owl up.
to the best of your knowledge, birds don't turn into smoke when they are attacked. At least what you think so. Goes.
That stupid fucking featherbrain was trying to come for Charlie. He's been eyeing him up for the past 10 minutes.
I'm glad you stopped him and that Charlie's safe. He looks like completely like he has no idea what to say.
Anyway, don't worry about it. Do you want this flower or not?
How persuasive is Toad being?
Okay, let me try to do persuasion roll. Okay. I have a -1 to persuasion, so. Oh. That's a 2.
You know, that's very kind of you, Toad, but I really couldn't take away from your meal and Charlie's meal. It's... like I said earlier, I am much too full after my meal. I appreciate it, though. It's very kind of you. Maybe next time.
No worries. Well, you better eat up because I've now picked these and we can't very well put them back on, can we? And he's gonna shove the extra little flowers into Charlie's mouth, and Charlie's like wah, 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 trying to eat them.
Okay. Is there anything else you two wanted to say to each other?
No.
Okay.
Although, sorry, Quan will kind of, when Toad looks like he's done, when Charlie look like he's done, like, he will wait patiently for them, but once they are ready to go, he will usher him and he will make sure that Toad and Charlie get back safely to the place that they are staying.
Personal escort. Okay, cool, yeah. Toad will eventually put his boots back on and go back to the camp with Quan.
Okay. So
When the two get back,
yes.
Kazuma is going to pointedly look at Alara and look at the pair of them. So, Toad, why were your biceps weirdly shaped?
Well, I would assume that was because they were magical.
Mm-hmm. Paladin. Are you a real paladin?
I beg your pardon?
Are you a real paladin? Who do you serve?
I serve Pelor, the Dawnfather, if you must know.
Do we know that name, Jamie?
Mine.
None of you have heard of Pelor.
Who the fuck is Pelor?
Arvis looks away from the crowd and just goes, "Tss." No eye contact.
The god of the sun, the god of the harvest, of rebirth. I am very sorry that you haven't heard of him before. After all, he made my life much better.
Is there a god that occupies those portfolios, Jamie?
Not all of them, but the god of the harvest is Shanto, the god of... There isn't a god of the sun. The god of rebirth could be any one of the pantheon of Zeth, Calamore. Not wholly.
I consider myself very well versed in deities and the like. I've not heard of a Pelor. I'm sorry. Are you sure they're a deity? Cults are a thing, Quan. You might have been roped into something not quite truthful. I'm sorry to be the one to break it to you. Pelor's not a god.
Whereabouts is this happening? Have you walked
You're
back
all
into
back
the
together.
No,
tunnel?
I'm assuming this was
Yeah.
in the Mean Girls dinner
Yeah.
party.
Obviously, immediately Pod would interject with just, if you're looking for a good god, I can definitely suggest Killenvor. He is quite fantastic, actually.
I am fine, thank you, and I'm quite
Well, I
sure
mean-
Pelor is a god.
I mean, just in case, I'm just saying, if he's not, for whatever reason, not saying that he isn't, but if he's not, just in case, I can definitely help you out.
So you're definitely a paladin to a very real god. Great. Are you sure you're quite well? I just want to be sure that in your fight with Fazul, he didn't hit you so hard your brain hit the back of your skull and gave you permanent bruising. I just Not to say I'm concerned or anything, I just need to know it's not a problem. And in the spirit of openness, Alara, I am asking the question, are you alright?
One doesn't look happy. He's just come back and been bombarded with a series of questions that imply he's not a paladin and his god isn't real and that he's mentally not well within the space of a few seconds. I feel like from your experience as people, you would say that Quan is taking this very well compared to most people, but he does not look happy. Casimir, I appreciate that you've had a difficult time, but if this is some kind of plot to get something out of me, you can be honest with me. You don't need to insult me so.
No, I'm actually being more honest than I normally am. Your god isn't a god. I'm not sure you're entirely physically well, and I'm not sure you're a paladin.
What on earth would make you think I'm not a paladin? Why would I lie about that?
You're just a lot, how do I say this? You're a lot nicer than the paladins I know. Is all.
To the rest of you, to those of you who would have experienced it, I imagine not Toad, but certainly Mercy, Pod, probably not. Arvish, you would have met some of them. Your experience of the majority of paladins or thing would have been from people like from Sakramar or the Immaculate Ecclesiarchy, and these people are either very gods and worship is an aesthetic they use for their own ends, or they are pious to the point of zealotry. This is perhaps what you think Casimir is alluding to. Sorry, go on.
I just look. You're a very nice man, and I don't like saying it. And you collapsed earlier. Are you fine?
Can I make a Pod would kind of come over and be like, gesture as if, would you like me to, or something? Not in a. I'm not saying your head's bad or anything. Just make sure there's no damage.
You're very welcome to, Pod. But I really don't know where this is coming from. To be quite frank, Casimir, you don't know me at all. So it's rather rude to assume that you do. And just because you haven't heard of my god doesn't mean that my god doesn't exist.
Jamie, have I heard of this god?
If
No.
that makes you feel better.
But, Quan, could you roll up 2 percentage dices for me?
2 percentage dices.
Roll some percentage dices for me. None of you have heard of Pelor. Yeah, apart from when Quan talks about it.
That's a 31 and an 89.
Okay. Met the first one. You still feel, when talk about Pelor, there is something that provides that warmth. Just feel vague presence.
So I feel Pelor's presence. Like I feel that.
Something.
Like I know what that feels like.
Yeah,
And that hasn't.
weaker than once it was, but yeah.
Casimir, apologies, Quan. You mentioned that you were a servant of Pelor. Which of the 12 Prime does Pelor serve under?
You have no idea what the 12 Prime are.
Yeah, I know.
11 Prime, supposedly, but you know.
God, I fucking hate you guys.
And with that, given the time and given Sai some experience to talk about how she perhaps wants to navigate this conversation. We will take a short break and be back at 9. Give Sai 10 minutes to work out the interrogation.
I'm just looking out
Wait.
for Quan. I just want to make sure
I'm
he's okay.
I'm just Quan.
I just think he's very
Quan.
nice.
And yeah,
Else I
thank you everybody for
wouldn't be
watching.
questioned about my
Hope you're
goal.
enjoying, and we will catch you all in 10 minutes.
See you in
Bye
10
bye.
minutes. Bye.
Bye-bye.
So, hello everybody, welcome back. Hope you've all enjoyed the first half of the session. As a very quick recap, the group explained what happened to the captain, have been given the quarters for the evening, have had several separate breakout sessions. Please observe the fragrance that have been given to Clued and Sai. Is that Necromancer and Hot Paladin? Fits pretty well.
That's what we smell like right now.
Ilara challenged the group that rather than bitching behind each other's backs, maybe they should just talk to each other. A revolutionary idea in D&D, I'm sure. Toad went outside and engaged in communication with an owl and an unknown figure, whilst Quan followed, and Toad, they have returned, upon which Quan is being questioned. At which point we can take a quick break for Sai to compose herself. So Quan, who is Pelor? Go.
I will reiterate, fuck you, Jamie. What was the last thing that was said? Sorry, remind me.
I said,
Which of
So-
the 12?
which of the 12 Prime does Pelor serve under?
To your best knowledge, Pelor does not serve anyone. Probably the answer you would give.
I was hoping to wait a while after we'd had a good night's rest before bringing this up, but I suppose you won't give me a chance to do that. I guess I have some things to tell everyone, and I don't know is the answer to your question, and the reason I don't know is because I was involved in an accident. And perhaps some of you may have realized that I've been slightly evasive as to where I come from, and that's because I appear to have some kind of memory lapse. I don't know what had happened. I woke up somewhat to the west of here before meeting you all, and I had a fairly nasty bump to my head, a few injuries, and no recollection of where I was, of any of my friends or family. And I am currently hoping that this will improve in the weeks to come. I am sorry I wasn't frank with you early in the beginning, but I do know for sure that I serve Pelor, my god, as I distinctly remembering swearing my oath to him. And if you don't believe that, then I'm sorry, but I cannot say anything more.
Well, that
Nope.
actually makes a lot more sense than what you'd been saying before.
My concern is not that you're unable to say, it's that I'm really more concerned that you have been tricked, induced into some sort of servitude. It's not unusual for the Infernal Consortium to identify themselves as quasi-deities under different names, self-styled. And have you considered that perhaps you've been deceived?
I can assure you there's been no deception. I serve my god, and my god is mighty and glorious.
If you truly believe that, then that's fine.
Again, I hate to break it to you, Quan, but there is no such deity.
That you know of. I mean, I'm sorry, Mercy. I really don't mean to imply that you are not well read or knowledgeable about such things, but surely no one person can know absolutely everything about the world around them.
I know everything about the world around me.
I'm sure you think so, Casimir, but quite frankly, that is not the case.
No.
In all fairness to Quan, mate, Mercy, in all fairness to Quan there, I think you are misquoting who the Infernal Consortium are. You are aware of the Infernal Consortium, no? Mercy?
Oh, yes.
Sorry, am I calling you Archibos or Mercy at this point? Remind me.
I think you all know Mercy, right?
Mercy.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, I'm aware of them, of course.
As in the banking conglomerate.
In a way. Is that what you believe they are?
Believe what you want, mate. Money comes, money goes.
And souls are money, after all. In there.
Currency to some blokes.
I suppose a fine dark-haired elf in rich robes appears as any banker. But what I wanted to say to Quan is your accident, I'm very sorry to hear about. I'm sure it does not help that to know that it was probably part of the great plan. But we know who the gods 12 are.
11, but sure.
11. That is part of a wider question. But our world was made. And at the founding of it, it was made by 12 hands. These things are known to all peoples.
And I'm sure they are to most people. But that's not to say that you know everything about all the deities in this world. Because I can say for sure that my bond with Pelor is real, and it gives me strength.
Since we've established that Pelor is a touchy subject, perhaps we should table the matter of your false or unfalse idol, as the case may in fact be. I am more concerned with your health, believe it or not, and whether or not we are to expect you collapsing further. I'm relieved to know it wasn't the oath of Zulchambral that put you in this state, but if you are suffering repercussions from your accident, let it be known I'm very glad that we now know what to expect, and we can look out for you appropriately. Pod is an excellent healer. I can sort of heal in a manner that is not considered particularly holy or sanctified, but I can do it. So, what I'm trying to say is, we will look out for you should you fall over and further hit your head. And that is really the heart of the matter I wanted to get to.
At this point, Quan has been what you can only imagine is quite defensive. He's been looking quite coldly at everyone talking about Pelor in that way, and at that point he just deflates. He takes a breath and says, I appreciate that, Casimir. Like I said, I am sorry that I have inconvenienced you, and really that I had no control over it. It must have been a momentary. He struggles to find the words because he literally does not know what happened to him. He's not particularly hiding that. He's being quite honest about everything. I will try my best for that not to happen in future. And to be honest, I don't really know what happened. I imagine after the day we've had, after the beating some of us took might have had an effect on me. So I really appreciate the sentiment.
Don't apologise. We just need to figure out how to make it not happen again, and that's not on you. That's on our healers. So it's fine.
I'm a lot better at treating things after they happen and, preventing someone from falling over.
Well, you're welcome to take a look, Pod. I mean, I do have some experience in healing myself, although this brings me on to another point. I will say my ability with spell casting is not quite what it used to be. And I can assure you that I will not be a burden to the team, as I will make up for it in other ways. But as some people say, my lay on hands is not quite what it used to be.
Perhaps I can treat or identify what might be the problem. I have my suspicions.
If there's an arcane problem or a problem of the spirit, then I can probably take a look as well.
If there's a problem with your front door or your security measures, I can sort you out, no problem, mate.
Really, this is overwhelming. I really, really appreciate that everyone has taken their time to communicate with me. Everything. I'm truly not worthy of all of this. I know that you have helped me with the battle with Azul and this fight just now. I mean, thank you, Pod, for healing me, and it really means a lot to me. And he looks like so disgustingly genuine. Like, you have never spoken to someone that is so genuine and so loving towards like 5 random people that they've just met only a few days ago. But quite frankly, I would just like to go to bed. I'm quite tired, and I think some of you are more so than I. And he looks over to Casimir and to Toad and to Arvis and
I'm
to
fine.
And to
Pod and
Pod, yeah.
Mercy.
I'm definitely ready for bed.
Yeah, I'm fucked, mate.
I'm great.
Where are we all sleeping tonight? In this tent?
You suggested we all hold hands and sleep under the stars, no?
What Pod is trying to say is that Pod should and will take first watch.
I feel like the
I
camp is
am.
thousands of people.
I
to
am.
watch.
Do you mean Toad or Pod?
I meant Toad there.
That's okay, I'm not very good
Sorry,
with names
Bob.
either.
So
Well,
honest.
I'm more than happy to watch. What am I watching?
You're watching them sleep.
Us while we sleep, yes.
I
enjoy
I
it.
get the sense most of you feel going on watch in a camp surrounded by soldiers is possibly unnecessary. Unless you are distraught.
Mate, this is fucking inside job, mate. You don't know what's going on, do you? They came up on us, mate. Came from fucking nowhere, didn't they, cunt?
Yeah. Or you're a mistrustful bunch of assholes. I don't know how you're feeling.
Well, anyway, we rest.
You rest. You complete a long rest. Unsurprisingly, I'm not going to make anyone roll for perception checks other than that thing. You wake up in the morning. What are your plans? My camera is not in focus.
Firstly, to change the tunes, give me a second.
It's the morning mist. It's hazy.
Yeah. The morning mist comes over, making its way out from the swamp. Most of you sleep well. Most of you.
What do you mean, most of you?
Wisdom checks.
Oh,
Get
This
fucked.
is
I was
bullying.
literally
actually.
about to say Mercy wakes up early and sits there watching Quan for until he wakes up.
Kazuma gets up at 5:30 every morning, so
Starts throwing
Great.
fireballs at the
Fucking
wall.
weird.
Probably that same.
Arvis gets in at 3:45. He gets in at 3:45.
Okay,
You
so
use it straight to the gym.
can I have wisdom
Yes.
saving throws from Mercy and Quan and Toad?
I rolled a 2, so
Me?
that's a 3.
Wisdom saving throw.
wisdom saves.
Where's my
Got a
D20?
40.
Here it is.
Get fucked, bitches.
What?
I'm
Uh,
sleeping like a baby. I don't know what's
That
what
is
are
a
you talking about.
16 for Toad.
You're fine. You dream of owls and how much you hate them.
God, I hate owls.
Mercy, what did you roll?
I got a 14.
14. You're fine. No
Okay.
effect. Quan with a 2. Toss, you
3,
turn.
actually.
3. You toss, you turn. The questions of the night before haunt you. They haunt you even more because you feel that there's not just Pelor with you.
What do you mean by that?
You just get the sense that whenever you call on that feeling, that previous power you once did, there's something else there.
What kind of something? Like, good something?
No, something more malevolent. But you can't put your finger on it. And you can't conjure the name. Casimir,
Hi.
you awake to a message. In your head, presumably from Ivor Montague.
Really?
Mother knows somebody's impersonating me. What on earth are you doing?
Can I reply to this message?
You can reply to this message, but you've no further afterwards.
Hello, by the way. Don't worry about it. I'm living my best life. I was writing you a letter last night. I'll send it soon. Don't worry. I'll be back anytime now. I miss you.
There is no response, obviously. Even they cannot. Everyone wakes up with your various dreams or not dreams, as it were. You are served breakfast. Elara is up bright and early as well, reading a book. Around the table. Well, now that we're all rested, I believe we're planning. So, how are we going to get captured but not captured and make sure that we don't all get executed on the spot?
I've been planning since 5:30 this morning, and he's going to pull out parchments, which essentially will summarize what I could have placed in player chat, being the schemer of the gang.
Does anybody object to this being the plan or
But
have any
at a
comments on the
top,
plan?
at a top level team, right?
Give it really
Okay.
high level.
Yeah.
Representing
At
to
a
the
high
exec team.
level, the rough plan, is that we need to get into Wraithwater. That is our only breadcrumb and place to get information. So we have to do that. We can either fight our way in and then fight our way out once we've learned what we learn, or we get in without having to fight, and then we fight our way out. So if we get ourselves kidnapped, we have already gotten ourselves put inside of Wraithwater, yeah? So we can get ourselves kidnapped pretty easily. We can corpse the drow that attacked us and resurrect it, and she will have to act according to our plans and can't give us up, and I can control it telepathically for up to a mile for 24 hours. So if we need someone to unlock our shackles or bust us out of jail, we can do that. Or Mercy can do it and just pretend to have had, like, I don't know, their tongue taken out so they can't speak anymore, some shit like that. But anyway, yeah, we pretend to get captured, we see why they want us alive, and then we bust out of jail, sneak around Wraithwater, steal their info, plant some bombs, release their horses, and we leave and feel great. And maybe we kidnap Naliska or whoever the fuck's in charge.
A reminder that you have access to a corpse that was killed yesterday in the attack.
Yeah. I think Kazma presents this
also
to you with
a
parchments, and he's
reminder.
like...
Go ahead.
He's just like presenting it by flipping over sheets of paper and like pointing to little drawings he's made and diagrams, and it's like he's measured things and like, you know, it's a lot. He's put a lot of thought into this.
Casimir, These plans are truly well thought out. Wonderful ideas. I have a small issue with the pretend kidnapping or whatever that first, and he points to the one where we kind of are supposed to go in as prisoners. I don't know if we've been especially careful since our battle with the... He struggles to find the words, like he has no fucking clue what it is they fought the night before. The undead beings. And I'm wondering if there are perhaps too many witnesses to us not being captured to allow this plan to go ahead without a hitch.
Well, Razor's forces won't have any knowledge as to the fact we survived. The drow is dead. They were a single force, a single assailant. They could have snuck out with us, regardless of the town not being destroyed. We certainly could have been killed in the assault, and she got out scot-free.
We have no idea
mate,
how
mate,
many
just
informants are in this town. We have no idea who's working for her, who's not. We just don't have the information to make a guess such as that, surely.
We're going to have to gamble at some point. I mean, the alternative is we try and fight our way in and just do it the old-fashioned way. This is a shortcut, and if we're wrong, and she does already know that we survived, she won't necessarily understand that it's a resurrected corpse. I mean, they think Ivor Montague's a ranger. The thought of a necromancer won't be top of their list. Thought of Mercy as a whatever you are won't necessarily be top of mind either.
Well, I personally have taken part in a pretend kidnapping before, so I have experience, which means that I think that this will go quite well.
As far as we know, Razor has no idea what's happened here. Razor's not watching us. We have no reason to believe she has spies that can communicate long distance.
Mate. You don't know about these things. Messengers are a big part of the deal, mate. You've got to confirm your kill. Don't ask me how I know these things. It doesn't represent me as a person, but I'm just telling you that often you might expect to hear from the murderer's mouth.
But if it all goes tits up, then we just fight our way out and we kill everyone on sight. It's fine, we can do that. We'd have to do that anyway.
Fighting isn't an option.
We have to do something.
The elf that, if it was an elf, that they sent last night was a chronoblade. They manipulate time and possibilities. They're more dangerous than you can imagine.
Everything is more dangerous than I can imagine, according to you.
I actually agree with Mercy on this. I don't think going in and killing everyone is a reasonable plan. I think we should avoid killing people that we don't know are innocent or not until we actually have some concrete information. I do think we should go and try and figure out what has happened, but I don't know if breaking in and breaking out and killing everyone on sight is especially realistic.
We're going to have to defend ourselves at some point if something goes wrong.
I can't explain this more. A chronoblade, imagine facing a master swordsman who, when you strike them down, rewinds time. You will never defeat them.
I don't have to imagine it because we killed it yesterday.
Well, I too am a little confused with this one. You're describing someone that we killed yesterday.
After being surprised, I mean, come on. They weren't particularly talented if they couldn't kill us after we'd taken a fireball to the face.
Good reason to suspect that our victory was intentional.
Oh, I don't think so. You saw the letter from Naliska. Well, what do you want to do then? Do we go to Wraithwater? We can scout it out and then choose the best course of action from there. We have several options. Just, if we want to be taken into the heart of the fortress with minimal effort, then we do so with an easy escape plan without having to kill anyone because we're captives that can easily get out whenever we want.
I don't know, Casimir. I'm just trying to tell you, these are rules. They're rules that you don't understand, that you can't understand unless you're one of us. You need to be unpredictable. And
I'm an aberrant, apparently. Everything I do is unpredictable.
Unforeseeable, but unpredictable, no. If you're just a man, then you can be predicted as a man.
I really hate thinking of myself as just a man.
Look, that's besides the point, Casimir. I am willing to go with whatever we all agree on, but I'm just stating my point that I think it is incredibly risky, given we don't know all the circumstances.
Anything we do is risky. We're up against a bandit who's serving Lilith would-be
Not everything is as risky as willingly walking into an entire fort of we don't know how many enemies there are, we don't know the strength and power of our enemies, yet we have almost no information.
Part A of the plan is scout it out first, yes? That is at the top of the plan, just to be clear. I mean, we'll do what we have to do, but we do have to enter the fortress somehow. We're either sneaking or kidnapped or fighting. So let's figure out which is the most appropriate.
I appreciate this plan, and I know we intend to inform the captain, but surely the more information is always useful. We should make our way there, carry this body, and just decide then. Have they follow us, find some way of signaling back, and if we get there and we decide this is a terrible idea and we don't want to be captured, then fine. At least we found where an outpost is. We can attack it and gain more information, or we follow a different plan. But
Hold the fuck on, mate.
we can always just travel there. I think anything else is speculation.
A great idea.
Hold the fuck on there, mate. That is the most balanced thing I've heard this evening. Maybe you got something in you.
Well, I was elected leader for a reason. It's not just because of my father.
Yeah.
I have studied for this.
But part A is scout out the fortress. Did you not pay attention to my 30 minutes of explanation?
Well, I just feel that everybody's got very transfixed on the, the being captured part, and I feel we need to refocus, circle back.
I think that part's the most fun part.
Back on the priorities.
Are you saying that you want to define the strategy before we start talking
Make
about
sure
tactics?
all stakeholders are considered, that we realign on the primary points.
God, we're such corporate shells.
It's nice to have ideas, but the broad's right, mate. Things are going to change between here and there. We're going to pick up some pieces. Maybe not all of us will be here by the time we get there. Life is life. There's many little pitfalls, many opportunities.
Where are you going, Novice?
So I say...
The most important question is, can we get back up to Wraithwater without alerting them that backup is close?
By the way, Quan looks absolutely scandalized that Arvis just referred to Lady Alara as the Broad.
The Broad. Well, I did think about that one. I don't think we should try and get all these good people here as close to Wraithwater as would be ultimately useful. I think probably what we'll want is a signal they'll see from a day plus away. We can't move that many people without alerting Wraithwater, and it should only be used should the worst occur, should we be captured, actually, and be unable to escape. And I can at the least set our corpse up with the ability to let that go on command. So then we know that help will be a day or two away at most, should the worst happen.
Yeah. I think that idea of sneaking, well, getting ourselves captured is riskier than it seems in the stories, mate. I think we should leave that one as
risky. Nothing ventured, nothing
as a
gained.
real back burner, you know. I've heard of it tried before, for reasons unbeknownst to me, but it's not ended necessarily too well for everybody.
Well, hunting
Well,
down a
like-
bandit serving a would-be god.
Well, like Lady Alara said, we can make that decision once we followed step 1 of Casimir's plan, which is to scope out the location, find some information, and know exactly what we're dealing with. Right, Casimir?
Sure.
Yes, we scout out the location. We make sure that whatever backup we want doesn't alert them to our presence. We don't, deploy the entire army to follow us a day behind. I'm sure whatever scouts would do there. So a normal patrol is en route nearby, some way of positioning, and then we get there, we look at what's happening, and we decide if we can take them, find a prisoner, or if we want to go along with this plan of being kidnapped.
You're a genius. We do deploy the army, but we deploy them everywhere except the place we're going.
Okay, so everywhere apart from Wraithwater, they start fanning out.
We flood the Stormlands with potentials. And Razor becomes that much more blind.
When you eat
So
breakfast
as
from a
Mercy
buffet,
starts speaking, sorry. So, as Mercy starts speaking, Arvis closes his eyes and he starts bouncing like this. He's like, "Oh, oh, I like that music, Mercy, mate. I like it. We play a little trick, we play a little tune. They dance to it, and we cha-cha the other way."
In a manner of speaking, I'm not sure. Is cha-cha is that a mode of transport?
It's a type of dance.
He's already.
I know how to do it too, and Toad will join Arvis in doing a cha-cha.
Oh, okay.
Eyes closed, slowly round the tent, just in a slight circle.
and it's not clever for your fate mumbo-jumbo reasons, but if we can deploy forces and have them scatter their own in response, then yes, it's brilliant.
It's because...
No, it's nothing to do with fate and possibilities. That's mumbo-jumbo. But if they send people out in response to what we've done, then perfect.
You can believe that, Casimir. But if you agree, then I suppose it doesn't matter.
Great. We deploy the army, we send a patrol near Wraithwater. Standard. We tell them to look out for a signal that we will only use in the case of emergency, and then we will decide the best course of action when we get there. Done.
Precisely. We adapt.
Casimir.
We remain agile.
I feel like what you've been saying, Casimir, has brought something glaringly obvious to my attention. If we was the targets for some kind of interjection, assassination, then what of the other party?
I wonder that as well. I hope they have been assassinated, but one can only hope. They might be captured as per... Well, they're a lot less competent than us. So perhaps they are captured by their assailant and taken to Wraithwater.
I feel like that would be the least foreboding outcome. If they weren't harassed, then questions were to be asked.
The bigger meta question for me is, why are we being captured alive? Presumably it's to turn us to Lilith's cult, but...
It's at this point, Captain Harrison walks in. Good morning, all of you. Sleep well?
Not especially.
Morning,
no.
Sergeant.
Good morning, Captain.
Shame. Well, shame for you, Toad. I understand you went for a walk last night.
Yes, that is true.
Good, well, we were never out of eye shot, so that's fine. Rest of you, we're going to let me into your plan, or lack thereof. What is it?
You're not going to like this, Captain.
We're going to do a fake kidnapping.
Not necessarily, in fact. Mercy, explain your mumbo-jumbo. But not in detail. The high level. Keep it high level. The stakeholders won't be on board if it's too detailed.
What does high level... What do you mean?
Deploy the army to everywhere except where we're going.
Yes,
That bit.
Captain. Our success depends on confusion and an
I am
inability.
confused, so you are succeeding.
An inability of our intended from discerning where we are, what we plan on doing, and by deploying your garrison to the valley all at once in force, not in a way that would necessarily risk their lives. I will leave the details to you, and in fact the less we know the better, but there must be multiple military operations taking place all at once over the next 3 days, each with a different goal, and by doing this, our target will be forced to respond on multiple fronts.
We need
Activity without
forces.
activity without productivity.
Yes, we need forces to leave Wraithwater. String them along. Kite them.
Exactly.
Right, that's our specialty.
Good.
Okay.
So, that's
So
easy.
far, you've been playing their game. They need to start playing our game.
Oh, I like that.
Yes. So we divert attention. It's a distraction, like they did to us yesterday.
Yes.
We go
Yes.
off and we divert patrols. We go to old bases. We search everything except for where we believe Wraithwater is, and that's where you're going, possibly.
Yes, we
I
will
don't
need
know.
a
Possibly.
small, stealthy patrol force to be available as backup, who will watch out for a signal that we will communicate to them, which we shall use should things go awry in our attempt to enter the fortress, and whatever mean we decide best when we get there.
Yeah, Sergeant. You just got an army? You got any spies or anything like that?
Mm-hmm.
Certainly, yes.
Yeah, well, send those blacks then, eh?
Of course, they'll be following you. Main formations will go on patrols as standard, maybe a bit deeper. We'll send expeditions to various villages or outposts, staging some attacks, and reinforce harbors along the coast, villages nearby, make sure that they know something is happening, but they don't know where. And none of it will point towards Wraithwater. I appreciate and see the plan. I'll introduce you soon to each of the men who will be following you.
Good.
And Captain, if I can also request that each of your division leaders or the sub leaders underneath you, if they could also be told as little as they need to know, that would also be for the best.
No, each of them will be told that their mission is the real mission.
Yes, that would be ideal.
Oh, I see the point. I see the understanding. And so that the spy, whoever they are, is unsure what the actual real mission is.
That's exactly right.
The spy, yes.
No,
Really, so do you want me to
spy.
plant any information that might reveal the spy?
no,
Do it,
there's
yes,
no
because
spy.
If that gets back to Naliska, then we'll know where the issue lies in your forces.
How do we
Yeah,
know
well,
that you're not the spy?
Oh, good point. I hadn't
He's
considered that.
he's
Are you
not
the spy?
he's not the spy
How do you know he's
You
not
don't.
the spy?
because I looked last night.
I can check.
You don't know I'm not the spy.
May
You
I
do.
check?
Of course, my loyalties are without question.
Toad is going to approach the captain and kind of put his hands out in front of him, kind of inviting the captain to join hands with him.
Awkwardly puts hands out, unsure.
And some spores are going to kind of drift off of his shoulder, and kind of after a minute, Toad will form a telepathic connection with the captain if he lets him in.
Yeah.
Are you the spy?
No, I am not the spy.
Okay, fantastic. And he severs the connection. I think he's fine, you guys.
I just told you that. Told what was that? It looked like cloud motes of dust coming off you.
Oh, those are called mushroom spores.
Oh, you control them.
Well, they come out of the mushrooms.
Okay.
It's a
Anyway.
normal part of... Anyway, I think he's fine, and he vouches for the captain.
But now that I am no longer on suspicion, I will be preparing my men for these various expeditions. Those preparing the units will follow you. Anything else you
I
need
want-
for?
I want my false shackles just in case.
Yes, we have provided.
full
We couldn't
shackles.
find one large enough for pod. They are currently being
Oh,
forged.
and we also need blindfolds for kidnapping.
Any scraps of fabric will do, I assume.
With very fabric we can see through, ideally.
The thinner the better.
Thin
Fine.
fabric.
I'm sure those can be provided.
Mesh.
And mate,
Loosely
from your own
woven.
force, have you got any tools? Trinkets, anything you could give
I would
to
understand you would be
the
fully
tip
provided.
of the spear.
My army is a fairly standard army. You are what I believe are called special operations. Were you not provided fully upon your leaving Fort Valor?
Mate, we were provided for as a party, not as a fucking integral unit of a military strategy now.
I believe that's exactly what you are. So what are you missing?
Do you have a falconer?
Yes.
Would they be willing to part ways with their falcon?
Oh, please no.
Why? What's wrong with the falcon?
I hate birds so much.
What?
Any
did
other
they
creature will
do?
do.
No.
Right.
I got attacked by an owl last night.
I'm so sorry to hear that. Was the owl okay?
What?
No, he's
Owls
dust
don't
now.
attack people.
He's
What?
he's dust.
You'll have to talk to the
Who's
falcon.
dust?
He's dust.
Thank you.
You dusted a wild creature.
Sorry, he's got a serious face. I don't. Well, yes, of course. He was trying to come for Charlie.
Oh, I suppose
snail.
owls
You all
do
know
eat
the snail.
snails. Owls
Ah.
do, I understand.
Understandable.
Oh,
Fair enough.
speaking of which, Mercy, the owl wanted me to ask you, what is up with Sandra's plan?
Who's Sandra?
Who is Sandra?
Oh, bollocks! I don't think it was Sandra. It was Sasha. Sasha's plan. Sylvia's plan. Your god's plan. What is at the end of your god's plan?
God's plan. God's plan.
Davros?
That's the one. Thank you.
Let me get this straight. An owl spoke to you and told you to tell me, ask me, what is at the end of Savras's plan.
At this point, Captain Harrison is like, I'm not really here to talk about owls. I'll lead you to it. My men will begin preparations. Thank you.
Bye.
Can you
Goodbye.
take my letters, please? He like stuffs letters to
Yeah,
be sent.
You can tell me what those details are. He leaves you to this discussion.
Before mechanically, I've simply asked him if a small hand crossbow can be
Yes,
provided
absolutely,
with
yes.
bolts.
Yes. Yeah, no, sure.
How many bolts do I get?
Continue
DM,
with-
how many bolts do I get?
20. Please continue with Sasha's plan.
Mercy it's just like, Toad,
Not to think, you can just say this to me, that question is antithetical to the very idea. The great compromise is an end to itself, it has no end.
Is it a circle,
Yeah,
basically?
I don't even think. I think the way that Toad's phrased that sounds ridiculous. Toad, I'm not sure exactly what you consumed last night. Perhaps you were shaken by what was clearly traumatic attack of Charlie by this wild owl.
Well, no, the owl asked me about Sandra's plan before it tried to attack
No,
Charlie.
I don't think.
Yes, you're quite right, Mercy. It was also perhaps the potion of strength that he.
There's nothing wrong with
Maybe.
drinking potions
Maybe.
of strength.
A
You can have them in
potion.
moderation.
Razor's wanted poster, is that owl canon?
Yeah.
Keen mind Casimir is immediately like, owl, like in the wanted poster. Did it look like this owl? He pulls out.
Is this your owl?
I suppose. I mean, all owls kind of look the same to me, to be perfectly honest.
If owls are talking to you in the dead of night, and we know the bandit queen we're going after, her hallmark is an owl, are we not maybe making that connection naturally? Is that not occurring to us?
Why would an
Is that
owl
just me?
have anything to do with the bandit queen?
She has an owl.
She has an owl, it's
Yeah,
her
but
thing.
There's thousands of owls in the world. I wish
Yeah,
there
but
were
what if it was-
thousands.
But they don't all talk, do they?
What if it was
Joe?
her owl? What if it was a talking owl?
Well, all owls talk.
Do they all ask about Savras's plan and specifically name members of your accompanying party?
To be fair, he is right.
Not
All,
usually.
all owls do actually talk. That is not particularly special.
Well, sure,
They're
but
not
do they all ask?
particularly good conversationalists, I will
Yeah, they're
say.
quite boring actually.
Yeah.
God's end, you lot talking about where the fucking owls do X, Y, Z, mate. We got to get on the road. We've got our shit. Let's go, mate. Fucking
No, are we all
Let's get the
missing
fucking grass in our lungs.
that Razor Jalen sent her owl to talk to you last night? Well, we just. So she does know we're alive. There we go.
She knows, mate. She
I mean,
knows.
But why
Supposed
is
to
it
be a-
Razor's owl?
But why?
What else would it be?
Could just be an arse.
An arse?
All owls are assholes. All birds are assholes. I fucking hate birds.
They don't all know Mercy by name and know that he serves Savris.
Toad, that's
do they?
important.
Right,
That
before we
is-
start this
that
very
is
serious
true.
roleplay, I've literally just remembered this is from the one shot. I've literally just remembered this whole
Did-
fucking
Toad,
stupid
that's-
shit about birds. Sorry.
This is really important. Did the owl name me?
Yes.
Well, fuck, Mercy, because you go by a pseudonym Atropos. So she knows quite a lot about us.
Well, I
to
mean,
know
the
you by
captain
name.
also called you Mercy.
You told the captain, otherwise he used to have false apologies.
Oh, then sorry, yes. I retract that statement.
All right, cunts, I'm stepping out and get some tobacco off a soldier, and when you's ready, you can just walk on out of
What
this
else
tent,
did
and
the
Harvest
owl
leaves
say
the
to
tent.
you?
Hello? We kind of did a bit of a back and forth of hello, 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 because owls aren't particularly smart. But then another voice joined the owl's head, and then that voice was like, ask about Sasha's plan.
Savras. It's not Sasha.
Dude,
There's so many names to remember, it's very difficult.
I understand that your intentions are good, but I would pray that in the future, should animals ask you about particulars of our party, our group, and the deities they follow, that they have no business or possibility in knowing, that maybe you share that oddity with the group.
I just have.
Because under duress, Toad, we've had to pry it out of you.
No, I willingly offered this information a moment ago.
Okay.
Anyway, she said that that
Can I read Toad's weave?
Sure, go for it. What are you looking for?
I don't trust this guy. Shit.
she said that I won't be able to get the answer back to her anyway, which is fine. I think she just wanted to ask the question to Mercy, which it just seems like typical nonsense bird stuff, honestly.
No, Toad, it's not nonsense.
So she wanted you to
She's taunting me.
Yes.
If you say so.
There is no end. Because the end of the God's Weave is the end of the world.
So that means there is an end then. Everything dies.
And this world ceases to be.
Well, no. This world will turn into something new. Everything is in a cycle of renewal.
It just pops it back up. Death isn't final. Death
Jamie,
Yes.
do Weavers know about space, gravity, and the universe?
Will simply become
No.
dust in the cosmos.
How
They're
good
not-
are they at
they're not-
metaphysics?
No, the gods
Yankee.
rule. Why would it's the beginning and the end? The end of the God's Weave is the end of the compromise and disaster. The God's Weave
Okay.
is inherently circular. It is designed to keep the balance. Because for you, there isn't a goal for God's Weave. It is merely what must continue for there to be something to continue to.
There is no end, Toad.
Well, I suppose you could view it that way, and the fact that everything dies and then gets renewed. So if you want to see that as a
No, it's
never-ending
not.
circle, then that works.
I appreciate that is your world view. There is an objective truth. This world was created.
Yes.
And
That's
12...
that's not a controversial statement to any of you, just apart from Quan, who doesn't quite know what's going on.
Intelligent design.
And 12 cosmic beings fought over dominion until one of them destroyed themselves to create a compromise.
Look, Elias, we all understand history, but if we believe this is Razor's owl, does this change our plans? We still go to Wraithwater?
You. Yes, I think so, but it is important to bear in mind that Razor clearly knows a lot about us intimately.
Well,
Well,
that
she
would
knows
probably be because we
about-
went on a big stage in Fort Valor and introduced ourselves.
No, but Mercy didn't. Mercy's been keeping their identity secret. The fact
Mercy,
that
did
they
you-
are
did you
Mercy
receive a
and
letter?
follow Severus.
Did you receive a letter?
Who?
Mercy.
No.
Okay. Let us go. Let's leave the Wraithwater. We can plan on the way, but I think we perhaps presume that maybe we're being watched, and if we fake a kidnapping, it's under the assumption that we know that they know that we know that they know that we know that they know.
Yes, exactly. We must always be aware that they know that we know that they know.
But what if we don't know?
Right. So, obviously, there will be much talking on the road. Is there any issue with people leaving to go to Wraithwater?
Nope. Let's get out of here.
Right. You carry the two corpses with you in the cart that you brought with you. You carry the one of the operative Van, the unknown corpse that you may or may not bring back at some point, and you begin to leave and travel. Many operations are going on to different places, and you're attempting to distract. You all, I'm going to say, are keeping an eye out for the owl in Razor's poster as you go along this. Your decisions will be made once you get to Wraithwater. It is presumably, based on what you've learned before, 3 to 4 days travel to Wraithwater. Is there anything else anybody would like to request or want before you leave on this journey?
I will find meet one of the spy people that the captain talked about, and I will take on their face.
Sure, absolutely.
And so from
Okay.
now, I will be traveling as name of spy here.
Sure. So the rest of you, anything else, or are you traveling? Cool.
We are
So-
traveling.
You're traveling. Your first day of traveling, could one of the group nominate themselves as attempting to remember what you know and attempting to make your way to Wraithwater?
Like a survival check, perhaps?
Yes. Somebody's going to have to make a survival
I'll
check
do
on behalf
it.
of the group.
What about the guy who knows all the maps?
Yeah, I know all the maps, Jamie.
That's fine. Well, somebody else can roll. If
With
Toad wants to roll,
advantage,
but you
because
Casimir, yeah, that's fine.
Lord
Toad, you
knows
can
I
roll
have
with advantage.
memorized every inch of every ordnance survey map. that
Wait.
I've got.
Wait.
Are you going to portents it?
Yeah, I'm going to put on the shit out of that. 15.
Why? I wanted to roll.
All right, you can roll. All right, ignore that then.
You
With
might need to roll when you
advantage?
get there.
I've got advantage. Yeah, my first roll's a 19, get dunked. And my second roll's also a 19, get double dunked. And I have a +6, that's 25.
Oh!
Yeah.
Cool.
Survival's my
Could-
thing.
Could you roll a d20 for me?
Me?
No.
I just did. Twice.
Oh, I know.
I got 13.
Fucking testing me. So, as you're walking your way along, it is still cerulean. It's not quite this month. So the wind, whilst ever present, isn't overwhelming. There is this forest. Toad reminds you of places you've been in the past. It's somewhere between a swamp, a forest, depending on where you are. Creatures, birds, make noises off in the distance. None of you notice an owl following you based on your passive perception. until some of you arrive what you presume would be a good place to camp for the night. Upon arriving, does anybody have a passive perception of 15 or higher?
No.
Oh no, 14.
Yes.
Let me
Thank
check
God
that.
for Pod.
Wisdom.
Pod is my
No.
god.
Is it higher than 15?
17.
17. Pod, as you're kind of settling down, you're all getting ready to take whatever rest you need, keeping watch. You pop your tent down and lay down, and there's something sticking into your back. Kind of get comfortable, and you kind of move your sleeping bag or whatever matter it is you do before, and there is a piece of wood jutting out of the soil.
I mean, Pod attempts to remove the jutting piece of wood.
Yep. So.
Mm-hmm.
It seems to be, as you put it out, a flute covered in arcane roots.
Got another one. He's collecting flutes. Okay. Can I try and identify the flute?
Are you gonna try to identify it?
Yeah. What? Like, was that an? Yeah. What would you want me to roll for that? Arcana?
No, you can. So Arcana, but if you have the identify spell, you can also cast Identify.
Oh, do I have identify? I don't think I have identify. So no, I don't have identify as a spell. So I'm gonna just like completely
You would know
just
that
believe in Kalimvor and yeah. Well,
you would know that Toad can cast Identify.
I mean, you know, you can still cast Identify. I've just picked up this piece of wood, and I am using my natural 2 to not find out anything about it. It's just a flute. There's nothing special about it whatsoever.
Unless you ask for my help, I wouldn't. Just...
I mean, is this? Are we asleep yet, or
No.
we're about to lay down?
You're pitching camp. I presume you guys might want to chat this evening.
So I've noticed that this.
Yeah, you pulled it out and like you're staring at it in your part of the camp, as it were, and you can either take it to other people.
Over to Toad. He goes, hey, Toad, look at this! I found it. It was sticky in my back. It's a cool flute with runes on it.
That looks fun. Have you tried playing it?
No. Can I do a performance check to attempt to play the flute? Yeah. That's the +0. An 18. Oh man, he's a virtuoso.
Amazing.
You play it incredibly well, and all of you notice the sky above you swirls, going into like the sun is blocked out by clouds immediately as clouds fall over, and there is a lightning strike far off in the distance as Toad plays out a note or lightning, and he plays again, another lightning strike fires at a different place.
Wow, what a coincidence!
Wow, that's quite a flute.
Really powerful magic, actually.
As you take it away, sorry, Pod, as you take it away, you're exhausted. You suddenly see there's like sweat beating down as whatever playing that for about 10 minutes took a lot of effort from you.
That was quite the performance.
You just after that kind of like, you know, sweating and just, that's quite an instrument. What on earth is this thing?
Can I Arcana check what that might be?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, he would hand it over willingly if you know.
It appears to be a flute.
It's like my other flute. He pulls out the flute that he was given for winning the snow race.
16.
16. Well, I mean, it's some kind of musical instrument that seems to control the weather. I'd say Casimir can look at the history of the Galefeather Enclave, and given where they live and the storms and the flighted creatures, they wouldn't always want to be flying within storms. There must be some connection.
Should I figure out exactly the details of it?
Yeah. So it is, as you identify it, as you begin to kind of say, it is carved from some kind of deep blue black woods, intricate patterns of storm, lightning clouds on it, and they kind of flare as you're investigating it. When played correctly, this flute has the power to summon rains, pull forth winds, or summon thunder and lightning, depending on you imagine that depending on the roll, based on the performance check, you are able to shift the weather to your choosing to cast the gust spell, or on some occasions the call lightning spell, should you achieve a high enough performance check.
So basically, keep practicing and you can control the weather.
It's
The DC do get lower the longer you are in possession and practice with this item.
Practice makes perfect.
You guys better
Performance
believe I'm
check.
going to be creating the worst weather ever, learning how to play the flute. Well, I mean, he's pretty tired at the moment, so I guess you'd have to wait until tomorrow before he gives a second attempt at learning
Well-
how to practice the flute. What do you say the name of this thing was?
It is the Stormcaller's flute.
If you want, Pod, I also have a flute, and we could practice together. And he kind of like digs under his scarf and pulls out a little pan flute that's on a string. My friend made this for me.
Maybe not this one.
Oh no, I want to play mine. You can play yours.
I'll play mine later.
This
Takes
bit.
takes a lot out of me, actually.
This can only be played for a maximum of 1 hour per day.
Exactly.
You
I mean,
should-
wait.
you
How
just
much have I
drown that
played
in
it?
the-
How much have I played it
Like
so
10
far?
minutes. 10 minutes, but it's still that's a lot. Like
Well,
that's
we're
a
about to go to
maximum.
sleep, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess he plays it until literally can't play it anymore.
The rest of you are inundated with odd weather. Odd is not in control of this.
Is it still raining?
Yeah.
I
I
love
mean,
the rain.
Toad likes the rain. Yeah, exactly.
So
He's a
Um,
happy
I
little.
guess so.
It's a happy little frog.
before you left, Captain Harrison would have obviously various people going out. You know that about half a day's behind you, tracking you, is a unit of spies, specialists to try to keep up with you. Is there anything you guys would want to talk about a day in that you wouldn't have covered in camp? Bear in mind, your plan is obviously to get there, scout it out before you work it. Cool.
I'd like
one day,
to see if someone will eat a flower with me.
anybody eat a
Pod
flower?
will
with-
happily eat a flower with you
Oh hell yeah!
anytime. You don't have to ask.
Cool.
It's like SpongeBob and Patrick energy. You suggest something, and he's just like, "Oh, this sounds like a great idea."
It's one of the flowers from.
Toad picks a little blue flower off of his jacket and hands it to Pod.
I mean, I
There you
assume
go.
he's eaten many flowers like this before. He comments on the flavor
This is
being
one of
similar
the
to one
flowers
that he ate
from-
a while ago.
Okay, Constitution saving throw.
What? No. 17, 18 plus 1. Yeah.
Yep, you're fine.
My only 2 good rolls are going to be to grief everyone by playing the flute and survive eating a flower.
Oh, good rolls to have.
Yeah.
Proceeding on.
Sorry.
Survival check. Sorry.
Could Mercy sit down with one evening, maybe before campsite, just sit down with Quan and just come up to him and say, do you have a name for the spy already, Jamie?
Yes. So, Aaliyah Stonebinder.
Okay, so as Aaliyah, Quan, I was hoping to grab a moment with you. I think I might know why you've been suffering these side effects.
Certainly. I mean, if you have any ideas, I'd be open to them.
I'm concerned that it's your destiny unraveling. But I can't be sure. If you're willing, I just need you to hold my hand for a second. Could try and discern whether this is the case. I have seen it before.
Okay, if you think that might help.
It won't hurt you, at least.
And Quan puts his hand in Mercy's.
Okay.
You're gonna roll?
She puts out a hand. Can I spend like 3 minutes?
Is Mercy like focused while this is happening, or?
Yeah. So I guess like the kind of half elf, brown haired face of Aaliyah would you'd see their eyes kind of go pupilless, white again, and I use a 15, Jamie.
Okay. Roll your percentage dice and let me know what you want to know. Or see. Or perceive.
I just want to see whether it's linked to Quan's destiny.
What specifically, sorry?
The reason that he's kind of, falling unconscious all the time. Or just that time.
What did you roll on the percentage dice?
26.
Kwan's destiny is, as you see it, massive. It daunts you as you stare.
You know what else is massive?
Yeah? Tell me.
Tell us.
We haven't rolled for those yet.
My faith.
Hello.
You know what they say about men with big hearts.
Really big shoes.
Big blood flow.
So, you are daunted.
Okay.
You look at it and
Yeah.
one has the biggest destiny that you have ever seen. You're taken
Okay.
aback.
Okay. But there's no reason it's not like damaged or
One's
causing
destiny
him.
is interwoven with the fate of the weave itself to the extent that you wonder if this person before you isn't several people.
Does
shit.
Quan's destiny dress slightly to the left or to the right? Or
Hang low, sweet chariot.
How have we not seen this book?
Is this like a destiny that grows or is always showing?
Always. Almost. No.
And I guess a weaver hasn't got into it yet because it's not been cut or.
Damn it. Okay, so I guess Leah, holding Quan's hand, kind of jerks back, pulling her hand out of yours, and Mercy, they just shake their head, and she says, "There's something very wrong with you."
Wrong? In what way?
Your destiny's been showing for more than 3 hours.
God's destiny is so fat. I took a picture last Christmas and it's still printing.
If your destiny remains engorged for up to 3 hours.
Seek medical advice.
None of you see the owl
Well,
on your second day. Could I please have a survival check from somebody?
With
with
advantage,
advantage,
because
because
King
of
Nerd is
Are
reciting
we-
what altitude we're at every step of the way.
Are we doing previous travel rules where it can't be the same person rolling twice in a
Yes,
row? Okay,
I think
it's gonna be
so. Just to make it nice and easy.
I have a +5 to survival. Anybody got higher than that?
survival? No.
I do, but I've already rolled, so
Yeah,
you go,
yeah,
my
yeah.
friend.
All right. Pod's fantastic survival check
By the way, keep in
is
mind
is a 2. It's
You
a
have,
7.
you have advantage.
advantage.
Oh, I have advantage. Oh, okay,
Yeah.
that's good. All right, we'll roll again.
We also fundamentally cannot get lost.
Oh, that's 21 then.
21. Okay, roll
21.
a
Yeah,
24.
yeah.
Spicy.
I'm rolling a flat d20 or
In fact, it's 20, yeah.
QR. That's 6.
Okay. I will say, based on the 2 rolls you've had, which have been quite good, your travel through the Stormlands is exceptionally quick, and you arrive the evening staring down at a couple of dim lights off in the distance that you presume may, based on fairly limited settlement where it is, to be Wraithwater, and you stay far enough back that you are not noticed, and you can begin to scout out and plan your advancement in the morning. It is dark. It is quiet. Wraithwater is a fairly gloomy, fog-enshrouded outpost. It's on the edge of a stagnant, dark pool, which you imagine is why it's gained its name from. again, there are a mismatch of rough wooden and makeshift tents. Doesn't seem very permanent. It seems this is more of a name of a location rather than a town. The mist giving off is not entirely opaque, but difficult to see through. Casimir, you've seen mist resembling this before. It's not entirely natural.
Oh, like the spooky kind of mist?
A spooky kind of mist. Not vampire. More souls. Trapped.
He'll probably announce to the group, I think the wraith part of Wraithwater is actually probably quite literal.
As you hear this, the rest of you, it is surrounded by a wooden palisade. There are several watchtowers. You can hear even from here the occasional sound of what seems to be a smith. There are guards on outposts. You don't know how far the patrols expand. So I will say you see this. Casimir, you obviously report that to the group, but the rest of you have retreated far enough off, and you can now begin to plot and plan your advance and what you're going to do and how you're going to gain what information you want to try to gather. I will say if you are going to try and take another peek at Wraithwater and around, it will require checks to not be noticed. That's your freebies. You've had them. Casimir has just said that to the party. That is where you are right now. You are a mile or so away from Wraithwater, hunkered down, camped, out of sight. Casimir has pointed out that the Wraithwater may not be entirely figurative.
DM,
Yeah.
we require a map of the terrain we can see.
From where you are right now, not a lot. However, if you're going to try to sneak closer, I can give you one, but you're going to need to make a check. So I would advise you talk amongst yourselves what you want to see, what is the plan with what you're seeing, and I will ask you for checks and provide what you get.
How big is this settlement? So it's a wooden palisade. Like, what size of force do we think it contains?
Significantly smaller than where you are. You don't imagine there's more than 100 people in this town. Town. Settlement. Outcrop. Outpost. But there are people. It is manned. You saw them.
I suppose this is where I ask what tools we have to gain information without putting ourselves at risk.
And it is perhaps
Information from what, mate?
all of you remember, or let's talk about the fact that one of your plans is that to go in and be captured and pretend. You are aware that Razor at least was watching you back in town. So, what is your objective? What is your plan with all that information in mind? Again, we could, if you want to gather information, bear in mind obviously time. We're not finishing yet, but if it's something you want to think about and ask me between now and the next session on how you approach this, let me know.
I think we just go in. March in through the front door and do the fake kidnapping plan. We've got all the supplies. We've got the shackles. We've got the blindfolds. We've got the person who's meant to be kidnapping us.
I still think it's
my favourite thing about you, Toad?
What?
There's only one of you.
Oh, thank you. There's only one of you as well.
And ultimately, should all these checks fail and you decide that it's too much risk with Razor watching you, you do not need to continue with this plan, whatever you decide.
Yeah, but that's boring, isn't it? We're playing a fantasy game. Can we do something fun?
Just double checking. You don't need to be like, we're going to run.
I played the flute.
Oh no, the flute.
Away our position
I've
immediately.
not played 7 years of D&D. Come to a fortress and do nothing.
I want to kill something, dear. I want to kill something.
Okay, right. So,
I'm gonna run to the bathroom while you all decide what you're doing.
we need to learn what we can. We need to, ultimately, to get to Razor, we take that as our final goal. We think we'll probably need to get to her spy master first, in all likelihood. Her spy master may or may not be here, but we need to learn more about where their allies come from, who they are, what our next move is. We need to find out what they know, yes? That information is somewhere in this fortress. We need to access it somehow. We don't know the lay of the fortress. That would be a good first step. We don't know who they have inside it, be it Razor herself, be it Naliska, be it just a bunch of goons. That's a good second step. Can we scout out, safely, before choosing our next course of action.
I could scout it out, I
Yeah, mate.
suppose.
I can raise a corpse and have it walk in there and take some documents. That's doable. We have 2.
Fucking corpse.
I could go in
Yeah, I
with
think
it.
that's a little bit,
I could be quite small and go in. Says
Okay.
the 6'3" or whatever tall guy I am.
And if something goes wrong, Toad, say they spot you, we'll need to be on hand to bail you out.
That's true.
Can we do anything remotely? Are we like a mile away, Jamie? You're muted.
At this point, you're far enough away that you're not going to be detected. I've given you that. Any closer you go, if you want to go on watch, if you want to do anything else, there will be like avoiding patrols or potential to be seen. So you're about a mile away, and that's outside detection range.
Look, if I resurrect either of Razor's 2 servants that we have at our disposal, they can lie to me. I can ask the layout of the fortress and they can happily lie. But if I order them directly to do something, like march in, not give us away under pain of death, or pre-death, and bring us documents, bring us information, then they have to follow it.
I could also walk in.
You can also walk in, yes. Again, you're putting
one thing
yourself
I
at risk.
think a couple of you fellas are forgetting is places that are heavily defended do quite like to have a few booby traps around. Now, I myself, of course, have, as an exterminator, as a public investigator, a private investigator, no doubt, I've had my fair share of interactions with such devices. I should volunteer myself on that account.
You 3 all want to sneak in yourselves physically, yes?
I can
Well,
look
I
for
think-
anybody I could go into.
Well, we should just all go in together.
Yeah, but
Well, why
Toad,
don't-
you can't pretend to be. Oh wait, no, you can turn into like a small thing.
Why don't we go in at the same time? Half of us kidnapped, half of us not.
I like this idea.
Because
So-
there's no way I'm sneaking in. There's absolutely no way. I'm covered in pearls and I'm wearing heels. There's
Okay,
no
so
chance.
we blindfold and tie up Casimir and Quan and
in shiny plate.
Yes, and Mercy will change to someone else, and Pod will also change to someone else, and Arvis will sneak in.
But if you're worried about risk, how about we go to 0 risk and I send in one of my guys? They walk in the front door.
They can come with us.
Well, we don't need to. If you're worried about risking ourselves, we don't need to do that at all. We just send them off. They come back. I can control them from a mile away. We'll learn a bit more, and then we can decide if we're throwing our bodies in there.
What if they betray you in some fashion?
Well, they can't. They can't thwart my plans in any way. They can't lie directly to me, but they can't
But
tell anyone they're dead. They can't
if
go against
something
my plans.
happens to your friend, then they'll be alerted that something is off, and then it will be difficult for the rest of us to get in. So it'd probably be best if we just get in the first place.
I mean, sure, but if something goes wrong while we're in there, then it's gone wrong with us inside, which was our original concern with being kidnapped, no?
Well, that would be
There's a
problem for
couple
them,
of things to
wouldn't it?
take into account here, my friends. One, if some are going and some are staying, I don't know how we're going to communicate.
I think we should
That's a
go.
whole. I think maybe, but I think you know what we don't know anything about your place down there. I feel like it makes sense to send somebody to take a look. I can do it. I have the credentials. I am in some ways a professional. However, I feel like somebody should get a lay of the land, and he sort of draws nothing onto his palm before we make those decisions. And those planes going where? We just see some buildings, mate. Let's work it out first, eh?
Right, exactly. So, how do you want to do that? I mean, I'm suggesting I send in a minion, but if you can scout out the land in another remote fashion, then be my guest.
Yeah, I've got some ideas, mate. Less remote, of course, but I just wanted to know what would happen if your gormless mate were to walk into their camp, somehow make himself known, and they would just ignore his arrival and departure? Or deceasement?
I'm going to resurrect. I'm going to pour a hit dice into not the drow, Jamie,
Yep.
but the other guy who was in the attack.
Okay.
Resurrecting this guy. How are we feeling? Like, is he ostensibly... If I prestidigitate him, does he look corpsey? He died...
It's like 2 days
48 hours ago?
Like, there's a little bit of rot and bloating setting in.
So if I cast prestidigitation where I can remove stenches, clean objects,
like maybe
change colour...
Maybe a bit puffier than he looked in life. But passable.
Passable? Okay.
A 2-day corpse is like just probably a beginning, about to be on the corpse looking.
Beginning on the bad side?
Yeah.
Well, I guess I'll resurrect it and say, look, it's an option.
Looks at you, like looks around. This thing looks around as if it has absolutely no idea who any of you are and what's going on. Because obviously it has no idea, perhaps, about who any of you are.
Other option is, since we were thinking of all getting kidnapped anyway, all 6 of us could just enter the place from different angles and try to sneak our own way in, and then if we get kidnapped, then we achieved the original plan anyway.
But we're not able to.
There is no
because we
original
don't
plan
have
yet.
false shackles.
You
Cover your ears, minion, while we're talking.
Sorry, you do have full shackles. Sorry, I should have said that.
Yeah, I know, but we don't if we get genuinely kidnapped.
Yeah.
My goodest blokes. None of us know what the fuck is down there. Why are we making plans based on that? We make 2 plans. Reconnaissance and exit in case of discovery. Those are the 2 plans we need to make right now because we don't know what's down there.
Exit is solved. Reconnaissance. Gonna turn back to the minion. Hi, hello. I'm a new member of Lilith's cult. I'm here to serve her, and I've never been to Wraithwater before. I'm actually so nervous. Where would I go to present myself?
So, you're actively lying to this, but it's subservient to you. How are we like?
It can lie to me, so it doesn't know who I am yet.
Well, I want you to make a persuasion check.
Yeah, I'll make a persuasion check. That's fine. Okay, that's a. Oh wait, no, that's a 16, not a 12. Plus 2, 18. Yes. Is it wait? If it's deception,
Yes.
then it's a 20.
20. If one wishes to present themselves, merely walk in.
What's your name, friend?
Yeah.
Zareth Claw.
And you're from Wraithwater?
No.
Oh.
You've been stationed here, correct?
Partly.
Okay. What are the sleeping conditions like? Where do you stay? How big is it? Sorry, I don't know anything. Could you maybe just tell me what it's like in there? Where things are?
Certainly, that is the main sleeping area of barracks. A series of tents we construct. We have to be mobile. We move often. There are the stables, the beast pens, the armory, the mess, various watchtowers, the apothecaries' tents where they brew the elixirs that allow us to fight and heal. Supplies, the training grounds. It's a fairly basic encampment. I doubt there are more than 80 awaiting your arrival.
Who's
This is
in
good
charge?
fucking.
We are visited on occasion by higher ranks within the Ebony, Ivory Forsaken. There occasionally is Zyron, Gron, Sable, Nalaska, Reza herself. This is the closest outpost to the bulwark, and often a staging ground for our forward operations.
What about Van?
I do not know of Van.
Could you? I'm really struggling to visualize where all the places are. Would you mind maybe? And he'll give the resurrected guy some paper and a pen. Could you maybe just sketch something rudimentary out for me, please, just so we don't get lost?
Sure.
You could idea, man.
So as kind of draws it out, as you walk in, there is the main gate, and then along the river, sorry, along the kind of outside of the pond slash swamp slash lake, there's all of the main kind of tents. So along that, as you walk in immediately on the left, there is all of the main barracks and supplies towards the far entrance. On the right side, as you walk in, there's kind of the mess, followed by the apothecary's tent next to each other, and then towards the back of Wraithwater are the command area and tents, and the kind of stables off to the far east. So as you walk in, immediately there's the barracks, followed by the training grounds and the supplies. On the right side, there's the mess, the tents, and then immediately ahead, kind of in what would be kind of the center back, are the command areas, and further to the right, there's kind of the prison cages and other places. It's not particularly large as he draws it. You estimate there's probably like 40, 50 tents or structures enclosed within this palisade. If you remember when you went to see it, the palisade wasn't particularly large.
Beast pens. What's in the beast pens?
On occasion, chimeras, horses, donkeys, war dogs.
Okay. And do you know if there are planned attacks on the bulwark soon? Would you be expecting any of the high ranks? I'd be quite nervous to meet them, so...
We are always planning raids. They encroach upon our lands. They must be repelled. Constant activity and vigilance disrupts them.
So what you're saying is it's reasonably likely one of Nalaska, Zyron, Gron, Sable, or Razor herself could be there
Yes.
right now. Oh,
What a great day. I'm so excited to meet them all.
mm-hmm.
Mercy's face shimmers like a polyjuice potion, bubbles, and suddenly Yarrick is looking on his own face. What do you think of this?
You are a shapeshifter.
I will walk in, and I will walk out in a few hours' time.
Why not your true face? They know I'm dead.
Well, how would they know you're dead?
I died. I saw the arrow.
But how would Razor know? How would any of them know?
I didn't come back.
But you see, Yarrick, you've been
Zareth.
terribly wounded. Zareth?
Zareth.
Oh, okay. You've been terribly wounded. And they pull up the tunic and they'll see like a horrible wound or something, an arrow hole.
Silence.
What do you think?
I think if you mean to oppose the chosen, you will die.
I guess Mercy's looking at the others at this point.
I think it could work. And I think we know where the command tower is. Which is where our information will be.
I will walk in as Zareth and walk out as anyone.
I think we need a distraction to make your life easier in case one of their chosen is there. And that distraction can be anything from bombs to releasing chimeras to some of us presenting ourselves.
Point of order on the bombs front. There's been no indication that Arvis has anything to do with bombs.
No, I know Casimir just likes the idea of bombs.
I will leave that distraction up to you. Let us say, one of you come with me. And in 3 hours hence, I will expect a commotion.
I'll go in with you.
I think we should all go in together, no, just in our different forms.
I thought the agreement would be send in one person first, just to get an idea of how things are going, and then they come back, and then we all go in.
We've got our idea, don't we?
Yeah, this fucking dead bastard, he has told us what's going on, mate.
Ah. Well, if we're all confident, then go for it.
So are we going for
suppose.
team kidnap or are we not?
It doesn't necessarily need to be team kidnap. If you can think of something else, we can do another distraction, but I do think some of us presenting ourselves is a good shout. I mean, they know we're not dead, so maybe we can just be heroes here to defeat. Oh. We just need something to distract people to get them out of the command tower so you can get in easily, get the things you need and leave.
But why do
would
we
say
need
that-
to have everyone removed? The way Mercy looks, they can just walk in.
He's a goon, though. He's not going to be able to scope out maps and secret plans. He'll need to rifle through paper and take all the good stuff.
I say let's just go in and see how it goes. There's no point in plans, everything always changes. Just go with the flow.
I feel like I know how we're getting in there, but I don't know what the fuck we're doing once we're there, mate. Steelers
Yeah.
and shit. Is that the plan?
Improvise when we get there, but let's just decide how we're getting there.
Well,
Just walk in.
we want to have a rally point, a place to fall back to if shit goes awry. Secondly, we have a fucking escape plan, mate.
Okay, escape plan. We have our thing to alert our nearby patrol. So that's part one of escape plan. Part two is probably
Right.
create commotion, release things from beast pens. Maximum chaos, escape in the chaos. Rally point here.
Agreed. We should go in, but differently. A dead or injured soldier arriving with a chrono blade with a prisoner, 2 out of a 6-person captive, arriving with another unidentified. These cumulative arrivals may seem strange.
Well, I'll just
We
go in
should.
like this, and Toad's form begins to kind of like, almost like sag in on itself, like he's rapidly decomposing in front of your eyes. And he shrinks down, almost to like a putty on the ground, until it kind of blooms back outwards into the shape of a cat.
Oh,
Just
I
a little,
like that one.
just a little black cat. And this little cat looks up at you guys, meow, and starts walking towards the gates of the building.
Samson.
I shall be just Ivor Montague, who received a letter from Razor. Here to willingly pledge myself. I don't think we need to be kidnapped. I'll just do it willingly.
I'll vault the fence and meet you inside.
Yeah, I'll go with you, mate. Got no tricks, man.
One point of privilege. What about her? And he points at Ilaria.
Elara, how are you doing this? Do you also want to pledge yourself to Lilith?
I'm gonna be honest, I'm not the best at lying.
Ilara should stay here.
Thought I would
True.
tend to be, quiet and captured, and that would be enough.
Okay, you've not come willingly. I have come willingly. Good, fine. You are captive. Do we want the drow corpse? Do we?
Look, man, it's fucking rough down there for a bird. I'm not saying you can't do your bit, mate, but there'll be some real, dirty fuckers down there. You know what I mean, mate?
I'm quite sure I can handle myself, but I don't want to put the party in jeopardy. So I think I'm slightly confused on the plan. Some of us are going in disguise, some of us are going as ourselves to pledge ourselves to Lilith, and some of us are prisoners.
We're distracting the command, so Mercy can get themselves in and steal all the info with Toad and Arvis.
So Toad, Arvis, and Mercy are going in to steal the info, and you're pledging yourself to Lilith, who just tried to blow us up.
Yes, sure. We'll figure it out. And if shit hits the fan, I'll just start setting things on fire, releasing beasts and, signal flares.
Right. Okay. Okay.
Was there a bestiary, by the way, DM?
Well, sorry? A bestiary?
Was there a bestiary, or like a... Yeah.
Yeah, it said it was horses, chimeras, war dogs. Okay.
Regular
Chimeras,
animals
Jesus,
and
right.
then chimeras.
Yeah, Everyone's favourite farm animals.
Dogs,
Dog,
donkeys,
cat,
horses.
Donkey, chimera.
Chimera. Yeah.
One, my holy friend, you are dressed to the 12 in a tin can. I'm going to go out on a limb and assume you're not the stealthiest there ever were, but are you sneaking or are you marching in the front door?
Well, I couldn't possibly pretend to pledge myself to another god, so... But you are correct in thinking that I am not the most quiet when it comes to these kinds of things.
Kind of gives almost like an honest nod. Definitely a paladin.
Indeed.
So,
I guess you're one of the captured ones then.
Well,
with
it
Ilara.
seems like one of the only captured ones.
Oh,
Ilara also.
And Ilara.
Pod, what are you doing?
Who should I look like?
Drow. You could be the drow. Can you do a convincing drow assassin whose shadows become undead shadow creatures?
I can look like him as long as I don't open my mouth.
You just took a mortal wound. You can't speak. It's fine.
Do a fucking scar around your mouth, mate. Like, do the thing so it looks like your tongue's been cut out or something.
Yeah, like teeth missing, horrendous, scarred neck, gurgle rather than speak.
He looks a little bit confused, but then produces a... Should we just leave it up to the dice? How... What would it be in terms of trying to create a disguised self of imagining what an injured drow that you have seen looks like?
Okay.
DM.
Make a. I mean, you've seen the drow. You've seen them. You didn't see them talk.
I mean, I guess Pod would be pretty experienced at the disguise, but he definitely has a few that he kind of defaults to. He doesn't.
Yeah,
exactly,
I feel like
go out of his way.
the look is very close. The voice, probably not.
Yeah, no, he can't do the voice. It's literally just a visual thing. He sounds just like himself. It doesn't matter what he looks like. He always sounds like Pod.
Yeah.
Pod.
And remember, boys and girl, Razor has directly spied upon us, so all of these changes that are coming about, they've happened over our days of travel. I've betrayed you all and sold you out and captured Quan and Delara, and the rest of them have died or Scarpa, don't know where they are. That's
So-
the story.
We
Actually, can I retcon? Instead of being the drow, can Pod become the? Actually,
That's
are we
fine.
bringing the corpse? Are we bringing the
You
corpse?
can retcon it all you want because looking at the time, we'll
Mercy is corpse boy.
we'll leave it there,
Okay.
and you guys can finalize over the next week exactly what your plans are. Who's sneaking to do what? Who's disguised as who? As you approach the gates of Wraithwater to gain information, to understand exactly what's going on, to see who's there, and to try not to get some of you captured for real this time. Thank you everyone for watching. Hope you guys have fun, and we'll see if the group can make their infiltration worth it next week.